There's summer items, garments, and the swimsuit section where they have like the swimsuit cover up. It actually comes with fringes already, and you know, in different colors. These little cover ups come with. They have fringes at the bottom already, and so all one would have to do is just simply add the ribbon of blue. And like you're saying, sister, I wear a cover up and a sweater all the time. And with regard to the materials being lighter and thinner, even with my dresses, and the majority of my clothes, of course, they're dresses or skirts. I wear the leggings because I feel like I'm still more modestly dressed and covered up even under my skirt, even though I have on a slip because I'm old school. I'm a child of the '60s, so my grandmother, you know, girl, you gonna put on a
Yes,
half
me
slip,
too.
you gonna put on a slip with that dress.
Yes.
No, I don't wear my dresses without my slip, and even with my the thin leggings, I wear them. I had one sister tell me that those were still considered pants, but I'm like, I feel so exposed, you know, just with an undergarment and a slip and my skirt. I'm like, no, I need to cover my legs, you know, understand, and cover my body. So it's just, I
Yeah,
think it's just
because the
comfort for
garments
me.
that they're making now is so thin, you
Yes,
know.
very thin,
The
very, very thin, and the see
you put
through, even with the
on and you
slip,
can still see some stuff, you know, some
still
shape.
see through it. And I don't feel comfortable with that in the way, you know, some people are out in the world being such vultures, and I rarely go anywhere. But the fact of the matter is, when I do go out, I am covered, and I don't care. You know, I'm like, no, you're not going to see through my skirt. You're not going to see through my dress. I'm going to have on a slip, and I'm going to have on my leggings.
Okay,
Simple.
so again, sister, um, going back to what I said earlier about just having tassel on your headscarf.
No.
Headscarf is your headscarf. Your veil, actually, let me call it properly. Your veil is your veil. It's not your. We're told to put tassels on our garment. So your goal is to put that tassel on your garment. That's where you want to put it. And I've given solutions on how to get started immediately and how you can just have it on like a jacket and then walk towards putting your tassel on in the rest of your garment. That's gonna be your final goal, to put it, start with the ones that you wear all the time, and then from there you go on to the ones that you know that you don't really wear all the time. That's the best way to do it. Just simply having tassels only on your veil, or that's not enough. And but like as I said, this is something. Okay, I'm gonna reserve what I was gonna say, like as I did earlier. I'm gonna reserve that for the end. Let's move on. Sister, Brother William, are you wearing your tassel? Oh, actually, before we move on to Brother William, you can get ready to talk to me, Brother William. Get ready to talk to me. Let's see. About what you said, Sister Nakia. Can you hear me?
Yes, brother, I can hear you. Yes.
Okay. So, you said something about leggings. I don't want to, for us to, I really want us to progress because I have a lot of stuff. I still have to deal with the question and answer thing on YouTube. So I have a lot of stuff like ahead of me right now. So I want us to move forward, but at the same time, I don't want to disregard what you said about that. I do get questions about leggings and about things like that. Um, if you are, some people worry there are two issues when it comes to wearing dresses and not wearing pants. for the women that are concerned, the righteous women that are concerned, there are two questions that I hear often. One is, what about cold? What if it's cold? What if it's cold and you're wearing only a skirt? There are women that do live in places like Oklahoma. What's the other state that it's always cold and all the time? There are people that live in those places that don't wear pants, but they are still alive. They are not dead yet. So it's you can find ways to make this thing work. You can wear socks. You can wear, there are ways you can wear. There are people that wear boot, long boot. Long boot there are some boots that will go up to your comfortable boots. There are ways to get around these things and get around wearing anything like pants and things like that in the name of cold or in the name of safety, because Yah is watching us, and we have to do this with all our heart and with all our soul. So if as a woman you can wear, of course, Yah wants you to dress moderately, but also Yah was the one that covered the nakedness of Adam and the nakedness of Eve. He covered their nakedness. So if your goal is to cover your nakedness properly, because there's a lot of wicked people in the world, yeah, that's true. If your goal is to cover your nakedness properly, you can wear, find a more secure underwears, that you are the only one who knows what you're wearing. But if someone is going to attempt to attack you sexually, they will not have, they will not easily, take off that garment. There are things you can wear under that will be very, very secure, and it will not be seen. Nobody can see that, but you're wearing it and it's under your skirt or under your dresses, but it's very secure. It's very secure. Even if, Yah forbid, you fall and your skirt goes up to your hair, nobody will see anything because of what you're wearing. You can wear stuff. There are stuff like that, but it's under your skirt or under your dresses. We have to stay away from anything that even resembles, just like a man. I have to stay away from anything that resembles, like a woman's garment, and we have to, same thing with women. So anything that because once you get into that area, then the line becomes blur, and before you know it, it goes from leggings to more, not really a pant, but like a kind of a pant, and before you know it, and again, we're doing this. I'm not speaking to everyone right now. I'm not speaking to everyone. I'm right now, I'm fellowshipping, and I'm speaking to people that loves the Most High and want to do His will. So I know exactly that you guys want to do His will, and like what we saw earlier today, you saw what we saw in 1 Samuel and 2 Samuel. You see how Yah treats those that are His. So that's why we'll have to be careful. And this really, you can see this however you want to see it. You can see this. Some people will see it as too much restriction. Some people will see it, it's okay. It's not, so it depends. So, but I would definitely, if it's about cold, I think I'm going to try to get some examples, or if any sister can find, anybody, if you can please look around and see other alternative, maybe boots, or maybe boots, or maybe socks, or whatever that somebody can wear during the cold to protect themselves. I do have something that I wear when it gets really very cold where I am. There's something that I wear. It looks like a sheep skin. It's very soft, very, very soft. As soon as I put those things in my leg, it feels very comfortable, but cold cannot get in. Cold cannot get in. So you can wear stuff like that to protect yourself from cold, but that I usually wear indoor. They also have really, really soft sheep-like kind of skin that you can wear and then put on your dresses, and your dresses goes down so nobody can really see your skin. It covers them, cold cannot get in. There are ways, but I absolutely discourage from anything that even resembles like a pant, because then from there, you know, it's just, yeah, it's against Leviticus 22 5, and Yah considers it as an abomination. And we went through this the other day. Nobody that practices anything abominable will be allowed into the kingdom. So we have to find ways to do this thing the right way, and not, you know, there are options out there. There are options. So when it comes to safety, you can, I think it was Sister Juliet was asking me this some time ago about her daughter, because her daughter was no longer wearing pants, but you know, she wants her daughter to wear something very secure when she goes, you know, to school and playing with other kids. There's a lot of perverts, little demons out there, you know, who, you know, when they're playing around in the school ground. So she wanted to wear something, her daughter to wear something that will be, you know, much more secure. So even if that person falls or whatever, nobody will, you know, see anything, because that's one of the things that happens when you understand who you are, and you understand your eyes is open and you're delivered from the bondage of this world. You begin to value your body and yourself. You now have self-control, self-discipline. You now have you understand that you don't have low self-esteem anymore. When you begin to keep the law, you no longer have low self-esteem. Most women in the world have low self-esteem. So that's why you see them, they try to use all kinds of artificial means to show that, you know, that they are beautiful and their stuff. So they expose their body to men to show, you know, they have low self-esteem. A woman that has high self-esteem, she's confident and she doesn't need to expose her behind to be able to get people's attention or to show that she's smart. That's what most women do today. So, but for those that keep the law like you no longer have the need to expose your body. Even till today, there are older women who are in their 60s and 70s who still have to quote unquote dress sexy, because these people have low self-esteem. When you're not following the law of the Most High and you're not following His way, you will have low self-esteem. Why? Because the world has a different definition of beauty. If you are not skinny and you are not wearing a bikini, they will most likely not consider you beautiful. If you're skinny and you weigh 125 pounds or 115 pounds and you are half naked, then they say you are beautiful. So a lot of women try to meet up to this satanic standard that the Gentiles have set. Women try to meet up to this standard, and it's so difficult. It's so hard, because if you are not less than 150 pounds, then they don't consider you as beautiful. Who says who? Says, you know, man. So is that the standard? That's the standard that people are trying to meet up to today. That's why they try to achieve beauty by exposing themselves and the way, you know, wearing tight clothes and things like that. But once you begin to keep the law, you will realize that you no longer feel the need to show your self-esteem by exposing yourself. So if the question, if it's about cold, there are other means that you can. I think a sister just posted something right now. The other means you can battle that cold. If it's about safety, I can sit here right now and guarantee you the Most High is in charge. the Most High, like he made Pharaoh to not let the Israelite go. Did Pharaoh know what he was doing? No. The Most High was also the one that sent Nebuchadnezzar against the Israelites. So no man or woman, especially men, will come and attack you and rape you, and when you are trying to do the will of the Most High. The Most High will not let that happen. Yah will not let that happen. So if you are trying to dress the way you are supposed to dress, he is your creator. I don't have any problem the way that the Most High wants me to dress. He's my maker. So he tells me how to dress, and he told us how to dress. So if you as a woman is trying to dress that way, I can guarantee you right now that no man will rape you. Now, some people will say, well, but again, it depends. Like it says in 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 14, the things of Yah doesn't really, natural man cannot understand it. Yah is a spirit, and those that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. John 4:24. So if you are genuinely wanting to obey your God, and you're dressing the way he wants you to dress, trust me, when men see you, when an actual rapist sees you, they will feel the glory of Yah. They will be shaking. They will be shaking. They will be calling you ma'am. They will be they will not do that. But again, what I'm saying right now will not make sense to most worldly people, those who are not keeping the law of the Most High. They will not understand it. I understand how the Most High works. I have seen things. That people will call it miracle, things that you can't really explain. Why did this happen this way? This is because Yah is doing that. But those who don't follow his law cannot understand what he's doing. So no man, if you are genuinely trying to obey Yah, no man will come and rape you, because the spirit of Yah, like it says in the scriptures in Psalms, the angels of Yah encamps around the righteous. If you're trying to keep the law, you are trying to be righteous, and no filthy man will ever, even a man who is out going about looking for somebody to rape, they will not do that to you. As soon as they see you, they will, because if you're keeping the law, then Yah has his eyes on you. He's watching over the righteous. He's watching, because there's a lot more people in the world who are not keeping the law. So the Most High is typically, I'm saying all this is based on the scripture. According to the scripture, look at Malachi chapter 3 from verse 14. Malachi chapter 3 verse 14. Psalm 34. Yah takes very special attention. He pays special attention to those who are keeping his law right now. So no man is going to come and rape you. And I guarantee you that, if you are trying to obey your God. Rather, when they do see you, there is something called glory. Do you know what happens when you see a lion? Have you ever seen a lion? Have you ever seen a lion? Do you know how you feel when you see a lion? Fear comes upon you. When you see a lion, maybe you have never having an opportunity to see a lion before. Have you ever seen danger? Have you ever seen like a dog that wants to attack you? Do you know how fear comes upon you? That is the glory of that lion. The fear of that attacker is coming upon you. I'm not talking about human being. I'm talking about something that actually attacks, something that kills. When you see them, you're scared. That is glory. So when you are trying to obey your God and you're dressing the way he told you to dress, that is how anybody who is thinking of going around and looking for who to harm, when they see you, that glory will come upon them. That fear will come upon them. Again, like as I said before, somebody who is not keeping the law of the Most High will not understand what I'm talking about. Like it says, when you look at 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 14. So yeah, we should stay away from things, anything that resemble pants at all. Anything that you pull up like a pant, anything like that, that goes from your leg all the way down up. to your belly button. We should stay away from that. Now, if you want to wear something really, really short, like underwear, or you want to wear like a really, really, really short, but you wear it inside and lock it up with a belt or whatever, so that nobody can easily pull it out, you can do that, but it's under your skirt. It cannot be seen. It's under your skirt. You can do that. So that's what I would say. And these are two ways to handle the cold part or the safety part. But again, I will guarantee you for sure that no man, because when you're keeping Yah's law, there are things that, when you're doing it genuinely and you're doing it because, most people are not doing it, but you choose to do it, Yah will be with you and will protect you, and you will find favor with people, and even criminals and people will be holding doors for you. And, so this is what happens, because at the end of the day, Yah is in charge. He sends evil, he kills, he saves, he heals, he also destroys. He told the Israelites in Deuteronomy chapter 28, just like he took pleasure in blessing them, he will also take pleasure in destroying them. So at the end of the day, the Most High is in charge of everything, and nothing happens without him knowing. But the reason why you have problems in the world right now, and you have all kinds of evil and problems and killing and murdering and raping, is that when you turn away from his law, he turns his face away from you. So you are now living in a jungle. You are now living in a jungle. When you turn from his law, he turns his face away from you. Proverbs 28 verse 9. Those that turn their ear from hearing the law, even their prayer is an abomination to Yah. But when you do begin to keep his law, like it says in Deuteronomy chapter 4 from verse 25, when you begin to keep his laws, Deuteronomy chapter 4 from verse 25, when you read it there, that also applies to us who are living in the later days now. When you begin to keep his laws, then what happens is that Yah will at that point then turn his face back to you, and no harm will happen to you. If something bad is happening in the front, you will be in the back. If it's happening in the back, you will be in the front. And this is a guarantee to those that genuinely and honestly from the bottom of their heart wants to keep the law of their God. So we should stay away from anything that for the women, men should stay away from anything that, from women garments, and women should stay away from men's garment or anything that resembles it at all. So that a woman shall not wear anything that pertains unto a man. Anything that pertains unto a man. So that's basically when it comes to that leggings thing, because trust me, that can easily turn into something else. But again, we need to do this thing for the rest of our life. This is not a religion, this is a relationship. So try wearing skirt or dresses, and find creative way. I think I'm gonna at this point do something about this. I'm gonna try to gather some information about alternatives. One, about cold, how to handle cold, the things that you can wear and where you can buy them, and about safety, the things you can wear and things like that. I'm going to try to show it on pictures and images and stuff like that. For people will say, well, what about when I go to the gym? Well, what about when I exercise? I remember a woman that I used to see in the gym. I never see this woman with pants. She always wears a very unusual long skirt. Very unusual long skirt. And she will be on the treadmill. She uses the gym on her skirt, because that skirt is like, it's like that skirt, as the skirt goes down to the bottom, it expands. That's the kind of skirt that she has, and she wears it to the gym, and she wasn't doing this because of the law, because what she wears up here, I remember that woman, because what she wears on top is very tight, what she wears on top. So she was certainly not wearing that skirt because of Yah, but she was still able to use the machines at the gym. So the excuse that, well, what about exercising, or what about being raped, or what about cold? if you really want to do this thing, there are alternatives to getting around this. All right, let me go over to Brother William. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So how you doing on tassels? Are you wearing tassel yet?
Not yet. And I went and I was doing some studying, and I found a Bible where it says that we do need to wear them. So now I'm in the stage of trying to, I guess, get one. Um, and as far the tassel thing is new to me, so I'm in the transition trying to get one and get it sold in and start. I'm probably gonna start with some T-shirts or something like that, and then work my way, like you said, to everything. But definitely in the process of trying to get that. You know what I'm saying, for me and myself and family as well.
Okay. Okay, so I will try to post a link, or if anybody can find it on, if you can find it on Amazon, please post the link to Skype. For those who are on Skype, for those who would like to join on Skype, join us for this kind of meeting. You are more than welcome to send me a message. So, but you can go on Skype and type in tassels or titsies. Titsies, it will be T-Z-I-T-Z-I-T. T-Z-I-T-Z-I-T. Or type in tassels. You will see the ribbon of blue and you will see the tassel. The ribbon of blue usually costs about $6. About $6. And the tassel depends on how many yards you need. How many, the size of what you need. That's what it depends. So you can find it on Amazon or eBay and order it from there, and they will ship it to you, and you can put it in your clothes. For those who are not able to order from Amazon or eBay, you can simply look at the picture and see what it looks like, and then go to your local fabric store and buy it from there. Or you can also try to make it yourself. You can make that tassel. I gave an example with a blue. You can use a blue garment. You can make it yourself. If you really look at it and you're creative, you can figure out how to make it yourself. So it's very important. You need to start wearing that thing. You need to. Not wearing it, again, I'm going to reserve what I was going to say until we get to the end. I will go to, I already talked to Brother Gerald, Sister Ucheya, Sister Juliet, Sister Ucheya, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, brother.
You guys are wearing tassels already? Are you wearing tassels?
Yes. Well, I made them myself.
You made them yourself, okay.
Yes.
Okay, so you can do that. You can also do this. You can make it yourself. You can make it yourself and put it on. But again, if you, okay, I'm going to reserve it till I get to the end. But you can look at the picture of what it looks like and then try to look around where you live and find places where you can buy that material, sew it to your clothes or to the clothes of your children. It's that simple. Sew it to your clothes or to the clothes of your children. It's very important, very, very important to do this. Like Sister Juliet said, she made it herself. All right, so let's see. I spoke to Sister Georgia already, and I have Sister Karen. Can you hear me? Sister Karen, can you hear me? I know you said earlier that you were going to be busy. Okay, I guess you are, but you're listening in. That's okay. Let's see. Sister Brenda, can you hear me? Your mic is off. Your mic is off. I can't hear you. It looks like you're talking, but I can't hear you. But I can see you though. I can see you on the screen, but your mic is off. Try to unmute yourself.
Yes, I'm wearing my tassels. I only have it on, what I do is I have it on one jean skirt. So every time I'm going out, I use that one jean skirt. But I have others. I have the tassels to put onto other clothes. And where I am, tassels are about $3 a yard. And the blue ribbon is a few cents a yard. So it's fairly cheap.
Okay.
But I put them on because I'm sewing them with my hand. So it takes a while.
Oh yeah, it takes time. When you have time, you just do it slowly. Just put it one garment after another. Just start with the most basic one that you wear all the time. Something you wear at home. Most of the time you're at home, and start with that, and then you go into the ones that you wear to go out. Just take it one after the other. Before you know it, you will have it in all your clothes.
What I did is that I put it on the ones that I go to the city with when I'm going shopping.
Mm-hmm.
And I figured when I'm in the house, it doesn't really matter so much as when I'm going out. So I have none on the clothes that I'm wearing at the house, but I am putting them on the clothes that I'm going out with, and then I'll go to the ones at the house. Because inside the house is like...
Yeah, well, it would be good to start. We're supposed to put, we're supposed to put tassels in our garments. So it should be in our garments. The reason why I said to start with the ones you wear all the time is that, unless you have team of tailors lined up with their machines ready, like 10 tailors with bunch of tassels to put it in all your clothes. Unless if you have that, then take it one after the other. Start with the one that you wear all the time. So you start and you begin to put it, but don't say that, okay, I'm only going to put it in some of my clothes and not on some of my clothes. No, it has to be in all of them. So, something like what you're wearing right now, you are home, you can put it there, and then you put it in some that you wear to go out just to get started, but it's very, very important to do that, if and then also the goal, because eventually your clothes are going to be getting old and you'll be buying new ones. So this is something that you're going to be doing really all the time. You're going to be, and if you have kids, you're going to be buying clothes for them, and you have to putting tassel in your clothes is something. If you have a family, you should really look into getting a sewing machine, because it's something you're going to be doing for a long time, and eventually you're going to be doing it for your grandchildren. I hope that will be your prayer, to put tassels in the clothes of your grandchildren. So you should really look into getting a sewing machine. It doesn't have to be brand new. You can get a used one and look around on YouTube and learn how to sew if you don't know how to sew. So this is not, for me, this is not a temporary thing. This is a permanent thing. This is for the rest of my life. So you should look into getting a sewing machine, and you should, look into getting a sewing machine and just keep buying those tassels and keep them, because you're going to need it not just for yourself. One day somebody may begin to talk to you and asking you about the laws, and they will need tassels. You may need to give them some or help them put some in their clothes, So, it's a permanent thing. It's a permanent thing that we all should look at as a permanent thing, and not just as some temporary thing, that we are to do.
I do a lot of sewing. I do have a machine. I do a lot of sewing. But I just feel just to put the tassels on to take out the machine and all of that. So I just, whenever, look at me right now, I'm doing one. I'm putting it on now with my hand. When I'm sitting down watching TV or anything, I just sit down and put it with my hand. But I know how to sew. I do a lot of sewing. But I just get lazy these days. I'm getting old.
You just can't do what?
But I am wearing them.
Okay.
Pardon me?
No,
I said
sorry.
I'm trying to put them on as I could.
Okay.
But you see, the reason why these things, the ribbons are so cheap because it is part of the school uniform. School children must wear it. Wear all these different color ribbons. So they are very, very cheap. But matter of a few cents a yard down here. The tassels are like $3 a yard. So every time I go to any place that sells raw material where you can buy by the yards and bottles and so you will get tassels and ribbons. You should get tassels and ribbons.
Okay, I see a link that Sister Karen posted. Oh no, Sister Tanya posted a link from Amazon link for tassel. Thank you, Sister Tanya. Sister Karen, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so how about you? How are you doing with the tassel? I know you are new. This is still kind of new to you, right? How do you?
It's extremely new.
Okay.
I'm just at the point where I'm covering my head as I leave the house. Not on all occasions, but on most occasions now, and I just feel compelled to. Like the trousers are vanishing. I'm actually more following my mother. My mother stopped wearing trousers about 35 years ago, and I understand now why. And she's quite modest. But the tassels, I'm not at that stage yet. I'm just learning about the tassels and the law, the fullness of the law.
Okay, so you are definitely in the right place when it comes to the law. That's why, so everything you need to know about the law, everything that you want to know about the law, everything that we should know. So right now we're dealing with tassel, but it has
as an identifier.
Yeah,
right?
it say that we're to put it on to, what the tassel. Okay, let's see. Do I have anybody else that I need to talk to before I then go on and so that we can conclude what tassel means, what it means, but what it also
means. What my basic understanding is, it's an identifier for the Israelites.
Yeah.
Please correct me.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. I was looking to see if there's anybody else that I need to talk to here before we go ahead and conclude, and then look at what it means and what it also means when we don't put it on. So the way I see you right now, Sister Karen, when it comes to tassel, the way I see you right now is not the way I'm going to see you 2 months from now. When it comes to tassel.
Well, what you see in the picture, that picture is ancient. So I don't wear earrings like that anymore. I don't have my hair like that anymore. There's so much that's changed.
So I will also, speaking of the picture, I will also encourage you to, because we do see that if you
change it.
Yes. So I've looked over here. There's nobody. I think I've spoken to pretty much all of you about this. So the Most High said in Numbers chapter 15. Numbers, Sister Karen, if you can mute yourself, because we're hearing you when you want to speak. When you want to speak, then you can unmute yourself. So our Heavenly Father says in Numbers chapter 15 from verse 37 that we are to put tassels in the four corners. Actually, let me read that. Numbers chapter 15. Let's do this and conclude and see what it means, but what it also means when you don't put it on. It means a lot when you don't wear tassel. So, and the longer it takes before you put it on, the worse that, the worst that the worse the meaning becomes, you know. So it says in Numbers chapter 15, from verse 37. Again, Yah spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to the children of Israel. Tell them to make tassels on the corners of their garments throughout their generations. Throughout their generations. This was not limited to the ancient Israelite. This is to be done forever. Throughout their generations. They are to make tassels and put in the four corners of their garment. Throughout their generations. The Israelites are supposed to do this forever. And Christ wore tassel. We will get to that. We are going to get to that in Matthew 14 and Luke chapter 8. So it says in Numbers chapter 15 from verse 37. Speak to the Israelites. Tell them to make tassels on the four corners of their garment throughout their generations, and to put a blue thread in the tassels of the corners. Verse 39. And you shall have the tassel, that you may look upon it and remember all the commandments of Yah, and do them and keep them, and that you may not follow the harlotry to which your own heart and your own eyes are inclined. Remember what happened to Eve? Here you have Yah's law, but Eve followed her own mind, her own heart. Like the Gentiles will tell you today, oh, follow your heart. Just follow your heart. We don't follow our heart. Jeremiah chapter 17 verse 9 says that our heart is wicked and deceitful. Let me tell you what happens if I follow my heart. If I follow my heart, I will try to find a way to exploit you. If I follow my heart, I will find a way. If I have my way, I will find a way to rape you, to steal from you, to cheat you. I had a sister that was considering buying a land, and she was like, wanted to, if she can give me some money so that we can get started, or so I can help her. I was like, no, basically not yet. And my advice for her and for everyone is, don't buy a land that you cannot see. Do not buy a land that you don't see. You need to be standing on that land and you pay for it. But I could have just exploited her. Same thing with, people that are like, oh, Brother Tobiah, I want to send you money. Like as an, I guess they're thinking of tithe or something. So if I begin, do I not need money? Do you think I don't need money? Do you really think I don't? Some of you know. Some of you, I've told you guys some things, what I'm doing and what's going on. Of course, I do need money to take care of certain things. There are easy ways I can exploit people and get that money. The ones I did when I was not taking the law seriously. That's what I'm trying to pay back right now. Those that, that I owed money when I wasn't keeping the law, I am now trying to pay them back. And all praises to you, I'm pretty much almost done. But if not for the law, I would be like, well, I don't have any money. Sorry, I know I owe you guys, but I don't have any money. But according to Ezekiel chapter 18, you have to pay, So the point is that we're not supposed to be following our heart. Jeremiah chapter 17 verse 9 said that our heart is wicked, very wicked. I have said many times, do not trust anyone that are not keeping the law. Do not trust any man, woman, brother, sister, mom, dad. Your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, if they are not keeping Yah's law, don't trust them. Anybody who is not keeping the law of the Most High is capable of doing anything. If they see an opportunity, they will do anything. Anyone who is not keeping the law of the Most High is dangerous. The law of the Most High is the only thing that controls us and makes us to do the right thing. That was the reason why the Most High had to destroy the whole world and save only Noah and his family. It says that the world became wicked. Why did the world become wicked? Because they were no longer keeping the law. So this is very, very... So don't trust anyone who is not actively keeping the law. And now that we went through the tassel, now, like as I said, the commandment for us to put on tassel, we will see what it means. But we will also see right now what it means when you are not putting on your tassel. It tells a lot. It says a lot. Yah says to put it on. I've told you guys, like last week, I went into a store. Somebody saw me and was like, "Hey, there was a guy, there's a man, somebody that came in here that he looked just like you." Yeah, if you have a question, after this, I'm going to switch over and I'm going to deal with the questions and answers. So you just hold on. If you have any question, I will come back on YouTube and I will take calls and we can deal with the question and answers. If you have questions, I see somebody posting that they have a question. So Yah says that we are to follow He created us. I don't care. Like, however Yah told me to dress is that's the way I have to. He created me. He is my author. He made me. I don't have any, why should I have any problem with the way He wants me to dress? So, first, He says that we are to have this tassel so that we can remember all His commandments, to do them throughout our generations, forever. When Yah was telling this to the Israelites, that was a particular generation that He spoke to. After them came another generation. Their children was the next generation. Their children was the next generation after that. During the time of Christ, that was the different generation. Right now, you and I are living in a different generation. So Yah said that this law applies to all the generations forever. And it's a sign. We are to put it on so that when we look at it, we will remember His commandment to keep them. All His commandments. Verse 39, and you shall have the tassel that you may look upon it and remember all the commandments of Yah and do them, and that you may not follow the harlotry to which your own heart and your own eyes are inclined. Without the law, we are animals. Ecclesiastes, Solomon's describe it like that. Without the law, really, we are just like, but nothing. And that's why you see people behaving like animals. You see people that are even doing things that are worse than animals are doing. You see people who will lock up their child in a house and will be impregnating their own child and having children, having their daughter have their children for them. That is worse than animal. Worse than animal. You see people, look at what people do today. Without the law, we are really nothing but an animal. That's why I say that you don't ever trust anybody who is not keeping the law. But wait a minute. You who is looking for those who are keeping the law so you can trust them. You who are not trusting
who don't want to trust anybody who is not keeping the law. Are you keeping the law? Or you simply are looking for a righteous person to trust and to deal with and to marry your son or to marry your daughter? Are you keeping the law? Without the law, we are really nothing but animals. I don't trust my blood brother, my blood sister, my dad, my mom, anybody who is not keeping the law of the Most High, all his laws. I don't trust them. Oh yeah, we'll laugh. Oh yeah, we'll laugh and we'll talk and I don't trust them. I am not comfortable around them because I don't know if she's unclean. I don't know if you're unclean. I am uncomfortable around women that keep the law because I know that when they are unclean, they will tell me. I was going to go see a sister and she told me, oh, we are unclean, or my daughter is unclean. But my blood sister or relative who is not keeping the law will not tell me that. They don't even know what it means to be unclean. It means that they are on their period and that anybody who comes around them pretty much gets contaminated spiritually. But someone who is not keeping the law will not tell me that. So, yeah, we may laugh and talk, but I'm extremely careful of any man or woman who is not keeping the law. My relatives who are not keeping the law, I'm very, very, very careful when I'm around them. And I actually I limit the time that I spend with them. There are relatives that I used to see a lot before I used to keep before I became serious with the law. They invite me, I will visit them, and but now I haven't seen them, and some of them have stopped calling me, which is, it's not a big deal for me. They've stopped calling, I've stopped going to them. Because they declared that they don't want to keep the law. So this is very important. Without the law, that's what the Messiah is saying here, to put on our tassels so that we can remember all his commandments to do them and not follow after our heart and go harlotry, which our heart is inclined to do. Harlotry doesn't mean just laying down and spreading your leg. It's going after other gods. How do you go after other gods? When the Most High tells you something to do and you're not doing it because of whatever reason, that reason becomes your God. Maybe somebody is stopping you from keeping it or whatever that reason is. School, your job, whatever, family member, they become other gods. They become your God because you are obeying them rather than Yah. So they become a God to you. So without the law of the Most High, we are nothing but animals. And this is the main reason why we have problems in the world. Because the Most High God have turned his face away from the people. The only people that he's only interested in right now, the only people that he protects and he's interested in are those who are keeping his law. For all the rest that don't want to keep the law, well, you are living in a jungle right now because you're going to be basically defending to protect yourself. It's a jungle. You are in fear. You don't know what's going to happen. If you pray, you're wasting your time because your prayer is an abomination to Yah. If you are not keeping the law, the God that created this world will not listen to your prayer. Proverbs 28 verse 9. Proverbs 28:9 says that he that turns their ear from hearing the law, even their prayer is an abomination to God. That also applies to women. If you are not keeping the law of the Most High, if you are not keeping the Sabbath, if you are not wearing your tassel, I don't care what your reason is. Whatever your reason is, it's absolute nonsense. If you know about it but you're not keeping it, you are being rebellious. You can get on your knees and pray for 20 hours. Proverbs 28 verse 9. Proverbs 28 verse 9. Proverbs 28 verse 9. You are wasting your time. Also John chapter 9 verse 31 and 32. The Most High will not listen to your prayer. So you are just walking around living in a world, an extremely wicked world, a world that has become wicked because people stop keeping the law. You are going to be dealing with these people. You cannot have the protection of the Most High if you are not keeping his law. Proverbs 28 verse 9. Go and find out what an abomination means. Your prayer is disgusting to the Most High. He will not, if you don't want to hear his law, if you don't want, not just hearing the law, because Proverbs 28 verse 9 now brings us to Romans chapter 2 verse 13. Proverbs 28 verse 9 says that he that turns their ear from hearing the law, even their prayer is an abomination. That brings us to Romans chapter 2 verse 13. Not the hearers of the law are just, but the doers of the law will be justified. Those that actually do the law and not just hearer. So if you're thinking that you can sit and hear the law and then pray and God will answer you, you are deceiving yourself. You are deceiving yourself, simply thinking that you can just hear the law and you are fine. Because it says that he that turns their ear from hearing the law, even their prayer is an abomination to Yah. Isn't that what people are doing today? As soon as you talk about keeping the law, they don't want to hear that. They start giving you excuses, arguments, all kinds of foolish excuses. But then you have those that will sit down and listen, and they will be like, oh, that was a good preaching. There are those that do hear the law, but they still refuse to do the law. And that brings us to James chapter 1. James chapter 1 from verse 22. It says, be not hearer of the law only, but a doer. Because if you are only a hearer and not a doer of the law, you are deceiving yourself. See how this is now taking us to what it means to not put on your tassel. Many of you have known about this for years, for months, for weeks, and you still haven't put on your tassel. You give me excuses. Even me, a wretched human being, I'm not even happy that you're not doing it. Imagine the God, the Elohim, the Almighty, the I am that I am, that gave us this commandment. Imagine how he feels. I look at you like you're not serious if you're not wearing your tassel. Now we're focusing on tassel alone right now, because it's symbolic. It says right here in Numbers chapter 15, it says that we are to put it on so that we can look at the tassel and remember all his commandments and do them. When you are not wearing your tassel, it shows that you are not serious. You are not serious. But most importantly, it shows that you don't fear the Most High God. Paul says in Philippians 2:12, walk out your salvation with fear and trembling. Some people think that this is a joke. Think that this is a joke. I've described this before. There are multiple ways of disobeying the Most High. We have people like Hawkins, the man that died a few days ago, Christopher Hawkins or whatever he is, who are openly rebelling against the Most High. But then you have those who actually think that they know the Most High, who will be disappointed when Yeshua comes back. Because he says in Matthew chapter 7, verse 21 to 23, when he comes back, people will come and they will say, Lord, Lord, or some of you will say, Yeshua, Yeshua, Master, Master. We cast out demons. We did this. We did that. Oh, I was in the Sabbath. I was part of that. I was part of the congregation. I was this. He will say, "Get away from me. I don't know you. You who practice lawlessness." If you know about the tassel and you are not wearing it, you're practicing lawlessness. That is as like he says in 1 Samuel chapter 15. 1 Samuel chapter 15. 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 22 and 23. That is witchcraft. You are just like somebody who is practicing witchcraft, an idolater. So it shows that you have not accepted all the laws of the Most High. Look at Adam. Didn't he have excuses in the garden? Didn't he have excuses? Did Adam not have excuses? He did. Did Yah accept his excuses? No. Look at Saul. We saw in 1 Samuel chapter 15 today. 1 Samuel chapter 15. Was Saul, didn't he have excuses? He did. Was it accepted? No. David, 2 Samuel chapter 12. He didn't even have excuse. He simply said that he sinned. And he was indirectly asking for forgiveness. He was still severely punished. We looked at that at the beginning of today. We looked at that when we started today. 1 Samuel chapter 15 and 1 Samuel chapter 12, 2 Samuel chapter 12. So I don't want to hear your excuses. I don't want to hear your excuses. And now you can say, well, Brother Tobiah, you're being proud, you're being arrogant. Who are you to not want to hear my excuses? Go to hell. The Most High is watching what I'm doing, how I'm dealing with you guys. The Most High will hold me responsible to what happens in this congregation. Oh, yes. Now, you may not know that. It may not be a big deal for you. It is a big deal for me. I care about my salvation first before yours. You should care about your salvation first before anybody's. The priests, I'm not a priest. You can call me whatever you want. The priests are put to death on a spot by not doing things the way the Yah told them to do it. Look at what happened to Moses. So if I am here in this congregation and I just turn a blind eye and everybody is doing whatever they want, Yah is going to hold me responsible. Remember what the Bible says? Where 2 or 3 are gathered. What? Can somebody please tell me can somebody finish that up? What happens where 2 or 3 are gathered? Does anybody know what happens? What happens where 2 or 3 are gathered? Thank you. So if you are waiting for the day you will pack your bag and move to some place and then and every day or whenever you want to go worship, you get ready and take shower and go to some building, and that is the church of the Most High. If that's what you're waiting for, well, you are the temple of the Most High. Do you think we have this technology for just for fun? The Most High is bringing together his people in these last days. People are waking up all over the world. When 2 or 3 are gathered, at that point you can no longer goof around. You can no longer play around. So I will be held responsible, just like other men have been held responsible. When Yeshua was done, he told Yah, he basically handed everything over. He said that he has done what he was supposed to do and that he did not lose anyone. If someone comes on here and they are new, like Sister Karen, there are things that I do turn blind eye on in the beginning. But as you go, as you learn, like when I asked Sister Tammy, she's been here for more than a year now. We celebrated the last feast, Passover and Feast of Unleavened Bread together last year. When I asked her, she's been wearing her tassel for a long time. That tells me something about her. We have to, it says in Ecclesiastic chapter 12 verse 13, fear Yah and keep his commandment, for this is the whole duty of man. That also applies to women. Simply not doing it, it shows that you don't have the fear of the Most High. Now, Yah is watching everything that is happening. He's watching. Please, Malachi chapter 3 from verse 14. The Most High is watching right now. He's watching to see what we will do and what we are doing. And everybody will be held accountable according to how they kept the law. I have a role for being here. I have a role for, I know exactly what I'm doing. Yah is not forcing me to do this. Right this very moment, right now. If today is not Tuesday, I usually am out working. I'm making money. But I chose to be here. I don't ask anybody for tithes. I don't ask anybody for offering. None of you can say you've ever given me tithe or offering. We don't really talk about it until somebody asks a question about that. And we talk about it and that it ends there. But this also comes with a responsibility. Because when you, like we saw with David in 2 Samuel chapter 12 verse 14. If I am going to do this, if I'm going to be here, if I'm going to do this, it comes with certain responsibilities. There's going to be order. So if somebody is going against the law and I see it and I don't say anything, Yah is going to hold me responsible. Because what I'm doing is that I'm being wicked. How am I being wicked? Because I'm bringing together people who are honest, genuine, who really wants to obey Yah. I'm bringing them together, but I'm also bringing together those who are not genuine, those who don't fear Yah, and I'm bringing all of them together. If I now see those who are not keeping the law, and I turn my eye and I don't say anything, that is wickedness. Because those who are not keeping the law will affect those who are keeping the law. They will most likely will not have known each other if I didn't bring them together. You see why Yah will hold me responsible? That is wickedness. In the beginning, like as I said, I usually turn a blind eye. I have women that run wild. You know them, those who have been here for a long time. People that act like wild animals. You know, usually in the beginning, again, I turn a blind eye and I try to be patient and I try to be patient. And sometimes, people will, begin to understand their place. Everybody has their place. Everyone, children, men, women, Christ, everybody has their place. But I don't act like other Hebrew Israelites. Not that I'm condemning them really. But most of them will not tolerate all this crap. They will not tolerate, they will be like, get out of here. They will throw you out. People will tell you stories of how they've been thrown out. Some people will literally drag you and throw you out of their building. But I try to exercise patience. I try to be patient and try. But then, if you keep doing what you're doing, if you keep doing it and you keep doing it and you keep doing, you don't change, you don't understand, if you, if you know what the Bible says and you refuse to do it, you're being rebellious to Yah. And you don't really need to be, I don't really want you around me, and you don't have to. I'm not going to be mad at you. You know that, people have brand. People have something that they are known for. If you do know me, you know that it's all about the law. So, if you're a man or if you're a woman, I have stopped people. There are people that I have stopped from joining us because of certain issues that they need to handle, that they haven't taken care of. And they are working on it. And I feel I feel that they're serious for trying to fix those issues that they need to work on. They would like to join us over here, but I know of those issues. I'm like, you have to handle it. You need to take care of it before you can join us. This is not Christianity. This is not a religion. It's a way of life. You have to be born again. You have to let go of the old ways. You can't keep living the same way you're living in the past. So I used to be very patient but that patience only applies to the people who are new. It only applies to those who are new. For, because, when you're here and you're learning 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 all these things and you're learning the law, then what excuse do you have to disobey the law and not keep it? Oftentimes those who have been here for a long time, I'm sure you've seen a lot of things. You've seen things, you see people come and go. You see women that come in and they, act certain way and stuff like that. And you see the way I respond. And some of you, I've had somebody told me that, it's like I'm giving other people a break and I'm not giving, them a break. But the longer you know, the more you know, the less credit you have, to make mistakes. The less, the more you know, the more will be expected. Someone who is new, they are coming out of Christianity, they are still thinking like the Gentiles. I try to be very patient. I try not to just kick them out just because they're not doing something immediately. I can't kick you out just because you're not covering your hair. I don't know whether you know. I don't know whether you know that you have to cover your hair. I can't just kick you out because maybe you don't know. I can't kick you out just because you're just wearing pants. Maybe you don't know. I can't kick you out just because you're trying to usurp authority or to teach the scripture and teach the law to men. Maybe you don't know. So at that point, when I do exercise patience, some people will not tolerate that at all. But when I do exercise patience, is to give an opportunity because I know where I came from. I know where I came from. And if the Most High put me to death immediately, I wouldn't have gotten a chance. I know where we came from. But like Paul said in Romans chapter 6 verse 1, are we going to continue breaking the law that grace may abound? God forbid. You can't continue breaking the law that grace may abound. No. So that break and that winking my eyes and like it says in Acts that Yah have winked at our sin and but now has called all men to repent. So I don't look at everyone the same way. I look at those who are new into this, I look at them differently. but I do expect them to begin to make changes. Those who have been hearing this and knowing this for a long time, and they're not making those changes, and it's almost like you have to be pushed. You have to be pushed. Hell no. Who has time for that? I'm trying to push myself. I don't have time to babysit you. It's a journey. Yeshua describes this in Matthew chapter 7, verse 13 and verse 14. This is a journey into the kingdom. A lot of people have chosen to go on the highway, which is smooth and nice and comfy and pleasurable, the way that leads to the kingdom. The way that leads to the coming kingdom is very difficult, and very few people will travel on that path. Now, here is a place for those who are serious into getting into that coming kingdom. Those who are serious. When we have people who are not serious, when you're traveling on a journey and you have people, everybody really, really wants to get there and they are serious. Some people, somebody may want to pee. Somebody may want to pee. They'll be like, you know what? I'm going to hold it. I will hold it. I don't want us to stop. Let's keep going. They may not even say that they want to pee because they want to get there. They will hold on to it because they don't want to delay others on that journey. They don't want to waste time. They know that delay is dangerous. They know that if they stop to pee, that they can be attacked. So they will keep on going. Those who are not serious will be like, can you guys please hold on? I want to pee. And then they will stand there and pee, and they will make sure that every single liquid on their body is drained out. And then they will have to take some time to buckle up their belt and then continue on the journey, thereby delaying those who are serious. That's the reason why the Bible keeps telling us to stay away. I keep hearing people talking about leaving. A sister told me how she left her husband. Now, this is not her worldly husband. This is her biblical husband. She actually left him because of 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14. That says, do not be unequally yoked with an unbeliever. This woman packed her things and left with her children because her husband refused to keep the law. She left this man. I was really impressed because of 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14. Do not be unequally yoked with an unbeliever. That unbeliever there is not talking about regular, like, believe. It's talking about those who don't believe in keeping the law. Read it and you will see, because he begins to compare light with darkness, righteousness with unrighteousness. Anybody that refuses to keep the law, do not be unequally yoked with them. Be very careful when you deal with them. Don't do anything serious with them, not to even mention living in the same house with them. And there are those that do put this into practice. They are the ones who are serious. That's why Christ told you in Matthew chapter 10 from verse 34, that he did not come to bring peace on earth. He came to bring sword. And he talks about how he's going to divide family members. Yeah, Christ said that he came to divide family members. Mother-in-law from daughter-in-law, mother from father, family members. So that means that if your family member refuses to keep the law, stay away from them. What does this mean? People will say that you've joined a cult. So simply doing what Christ says in Matthew chapter 10 from verse 34, most people will not be able to do that today. This is a very, very serious issue that we're dealing with here. There are those who are serious, who are actually doing the law. There are those that love hearing about the law. It makes them feel good. But they don't do it. They're not actually doing it. If you're not doing it, it shows that you don't fear Yah. There are a lot of things that I would love to do, but I don't do, even when people cannot, even when nobody is watching. Even when nobody is watching. If I tell somebody something and I feel like I lied to them, I have to, like, I feel that I need to go explain myself because I don't want to lie to them. I can tell you whatever. You're not going to know if I'm lying to you, but I'm scared. I can lie to you. You're not going to be able to tell. But I'm scared of doing that because of Revelation. In the book of Revelation, it makes it very clear that nobody that practices lie will be allowed into the kingdom. Now you begin to understand why there will be very few people in the kingdom. In Second Esdras chapter 8. Second Esdras chapter 8. Second Esdras chapter 8, verse 1 to 3. It says that this world is made for many. The world to come is made for very few. In verse 3, it says that many have been created, few will be saved. Among the Hebrews, the people of the Most High, less than half will be saved. The remnant. Zechariah chapter 13, verse 8 and 9. Zechariah chapter 13, verse 8 and 9 tells you that the two-thirds will be destroyed. Two-thirds. That is 66%. More than 66% will be destroyed. 66.6% out of 100%. Out of 100% of people of the Most High, 66.6 will be destroyed. Only 33.4% will be saved. The Most High don't care about numbers. He doesn't care about quantity. He cares about quality. What is quality in the sight of God? What does he consider as quality? 1 John chapter 2. 1 John chapter 2. Verse 3 to verse 6. 1 John chapter 2, verse 3 to verse 6. By this we know that we know him, if we keep his commandments. Anyone that claims to know him but doesn't keep his commandments is a liar. Anyone that claims to know God but are not keeping his commandment is a liar. And there is no truth on that person. I'm not quoting Leviticus right here. I'm not quoting Numbers or Exodus or Deuteronomy, the ones that you've been taught was done away with. I'm quoting 1 John chapter 2. Say that the only way you're going to know that you know God is by keeping his commandment. Anyone that claims to know him but refuse to keep his commandment is a liar. Are you keeping his commandment? Now you're beginning to see the reason why when Christ comes back, according to Matthew chapter 7, verse 13 and verse 14, when Christ comes back, people will come to him and be like, we did this, we did that, we did miracles in your name, we did this, and he will tell them, get away from me, I don't know you. What's the reason? Why? Why will he tell them that he doesn't know them? He tells you right there, you who practice lawlessness. That's the reason why he's going to reject people. This is a very serious issue. Very, very serious. What Satan has done today is that he has kept people busy doing nothing. Satan has said, you want money? You want success? You want good life? Okay, go get a degree. Go get a degree. That's all you need. Get a degree. Yeah, something like this. Go get a bachelor's degree or master's degree or PhD or whatever, doctorate. Get it. As soon as you get it, everything will be okay. You will have a good life. Your life will be secured. Everything. That's a lie. That is a lie from Satan. But most people don't want to hear that because they love pleasure. Like he says in second Thessalonians chapter 2. Those that takes pleasure in unrighteousness. And Satan have kept most people busy today doing nothing. The things that you kept busy doing will not do you any good on the judgment day. The Most High God don't care about your money, your house, your wealth, your worldly achievement. It means nothing. But the evil one, that's why it says in Revelation chapter 12 verse 9, that Satan have deceived the whole world. He has kept most of the people in the world busy doing nothing. And people will run around and claim that they know God, but they don't have their tassel. They're not wearing their tassel. They're not keeping the Sabbath. They're shaving their beards. They're not covering their hair. They're wearing pants. If they're woman, the men are sometimes dressing like women, acting like women, but yet you claim that you believe in God, you know God. You're deceiving yourself, like it says in James chapter 1 from verse 22. Those that don't practice the law, you're deceiving yourself. So we have done an evaluation today, and what's going to happen from now is that I created a different, we're going to have a different section now. For those, again, I don't want to act like a lot of people out there and just throw the baby out with the bathwater. I don't want to do that. The Spirit lets me know who is serious and who is not. When I meet people, I'm laughing, we're smiling, and we're praising Yah together. But eventually, as time goes on, things changes. If you think that I'm playing around and this is a joke, then you have been mistaken. I do say that I will separate myself from anyone who is not keeping the law, who is not taking it seriously. Typically, I don't do that in the beginning. Typically, I don't do that in the beginning. Like as I've explained the reason why, I want to give everybody a chance. I want to give everybody a chance, to, have time to repent. But are we going to continue breaking the law that grace may abound? Like Paul asks in Romans chapter 6. So for those that genuinely want to learn the law, you can still contact me. If you're already here, you can still stay. You can still contact me, but we now have a different section now. For you to be added into the actual congregation, you have to meet certain standard. You cannot be living a lawless lifestyle and be saying hallelujah with me. That's a joke. It may not be a joke to you, but it's actually a serious thing for me. Because this is the reason why you have... Can you see the difference between the congregation you read about in the Bible and the congregations you see today? They actually receive the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit, if you need help, somebody typed in that you need help in keeping the law. If you need help, I have always offered myself. I always try to offer myself to help anybody that wants to keep the law. You have my phone number. You can contact me. Whatever it is, I will help. I've sent people tassels. I will do whatever I can within my power to help anybody that wants to keep the law. Those that don't want to keep the law, I despise them. Like David says in Psalm 139, I hate them that hate thee. The Most High in 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 14, talks about his enemies. Those that don't want to keep the law of the Most High. I don't care how nice you are. I don't care if you are 5 years or if you're a 9 years old girl or 9-year-old boy. I don't care how soft you are. If you refuse to keep the law of your God, you are an enemy of God. He sees you as his enemy and you will be destroyed. Isaiah 24, verse 1 to 6. Isaiah 24, verse 1 to 6. Isaiah chapter 24, verse 1 to 6. Malachi chapter 4, verse 1 to 6. Malachi chapter 4, verse 1 to 6. Go read it. If you refuse to keep his laws, God sees you as his enemy. He sees those that keeps his law as his children. 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 17 and verse 18. So we are doing some little evaluation over here. Evaluating. We've been here. Some of you have been here for over a year now. We're doing an evaluation. For those who are on Skype, it's called Bible Law School. I told you in the beginning. I said in the beginning that we're going to be taking an exam. We're going to be doing things. We are taking stock right now. This is an evaluation. Some of you are failing that exam very badly. It's a very sad situation. You are failing that. There's no reason why you should not be wearing your tassels right now. I don't care your reason, because I've explained this. You could, this is a blue towel. This is a blue towel. You can get a scissors and make a ribbon out of this thing right now. You can get a scissors and cut this thing and make a ribbon. You see this towel right here? You can make this out of this blue towel. You can make a ribbon of blue out of this towel, and then you have a ribbon of blue. You can get your garment and use a scissors and cut it and make it to look like a tassel and put that thing that you cut out, and then you have a tassel. When you are doing this, the Most High knows that you're doing it. He knows that you're really trying. But to tell me that you can't find a store, you can't find this, you can't find that, yeah. At that time, I was patient and listening to you. I don't want to hear that. There are ways you can. What it simply shows is that you're not serious. Period. That's how I, a wretched, poor, wretched, mere human being, that's how I see it. You may see it like, well, you may see like, well, I'm keeping the Sabbath, right? I mean, I'm keeping the Sabbath. I do pray. I do help the poor. Yeah, it's true. I'm not wearing my tassel yet, but I'm keeping the Sabbath. That's absolute nonsense. You know, when the Spirit revealed, when it was time to do this evaluation, it was like I try to have Yah guide me. I don't want to run loose. I don't want to become emotional. I don't want to become how do they say egotistical and do things out of ego, out of emotion. I like to take my time. I would rather have Yah guide me. Sometimes I may not like what I'm supposed to do. Sometimes I may not want to do it that way, but I do it. I like to be guided by Yah. And some of you came really, really close to being thrown off of this Skype today. Some of you came really, really, really close. Now, you may say, I don't care. Well, I don't care either. But for those who don't care about the law of the Most High, they wouldn't care. For those that really, really want to learn about the law of the Most High, guess what? They will love to be here. They will love to be with other brethren. They will love to learn about these laws. So at that point, you would care to be here. I have a lot to gain if none of you is here right now. Because then I'll go about my business. Then I don't have to worry about, I don't have to, I know how much I'm going to miss today. And I really need that money. So actually not being here financially, I gain. Being here, I don't get. But so if I'm going to be here, I want to be here with serious people. Those who are serious. I don't want to be here with people who are not serious. If I'm at least going to do it, I mean, if I'm going to give up one thing in the world, let me at least deal with people who are serious. Let me at least know, you know what? Um oh, we have to wear tassel. Okay. Like we have a new sister, Karen, that joined us today. Okay, I just found out about tassel. I want to hear by next week, oh, I'm wearing my tassel. I want to hear her say that she's beginning to wear her tassel. Then I can look back and be like, you know what? That last week Tuesday is worth it. Yes, I lose them. I know exactly how much I'm missing today from my business. But I'll be like, you know what? It's worth it. It's worth it spending that time. But I mean, if I'm spending time here, each time, you know, if I'm spending time doing this and I realize that you're not serious about keeping the law, you're getting ready about doing this, you're getting ready about doing that, and all that, no. You should be proactive. You should be moving forward. You should be finding out about these laws. You should be doing them. If you really, really are serious, if you really mean it, if you really love, you shouldn't be sitting around and waiting for anybody to tell you, you know, what to do, and you should be proactive. You have to be proactive. And there's so many creative ways to put these tassels on. We're focusing on tassels right now. Tassel, it's a big deal because of what Yah says in Numbers chapter 15. When you look at it, he said that so that you can remember all his commandments. When you are not wearing it, first of all, it shows that you're not serious. It shows that you don't fear Yah. Because if you fear Yah, you would have been moving forward. You would have been moving. You would have been looking. You would have been calling and asking. You would have been like looking around, like, how do I do it? And then I'll be like, you know what? Okay, all right. Okay, let me just go and get this thing. You know, I've done this. I've sent it to people who needs it, and they're looking around. There was a sister. She paid a lot of money. I think she's paid a lot of money trying to buy tassel. You know, I was like, you know, I went and bought it and I sent it to her. But how can I send it to you when I personally have seen that you're not serious? I don't have time. I'm not going to waste my time, go spend my hard-earned money to buy a tassel, go to the post office and send it to you when I know that you're not serious. Do you think I'm stupid to waste my time like that? I don't have time. But it shows those who actually don't fear Yah. It shows that you don't fear Yah. That's what it shows. It shows that you're not serious. It shows that you don't fear him. Because if you fear him, you cannot be walking around without a tassel. You should be ashamed to be walking around without a tassel. Imagine seeing me without a tassel. What would you think? You should be ashamed. How the hell do you tell somebody that you are an Israelite, or you tell somebody about the Sabbath and you had no tassel on? How can you tell somebody about the law and you have no tassel on? Are you kidding me? You can get away with that with Christians who don't know the law. If you start talking about telling somebody that, oh, you shouldn't keep the Sabbath on Saturday, or you shouldn't keep the Sabbath on Sunday, or you shouldn't do this, and you don't wear a tassel, how the hell do you even have a shame to open your mouth and tell somebody about the law when you're not wearing your tassel? That is shameful. That's beyond hypocrisy. You should be scared to be walking around without a tassel. I actually prefer to deal with those who are very open, who hate Yah and are very open about that. I prefer to see them. You know, I asked someone last night. They saw something, which I'm not going to go into details, but they saw something that is connected to me. Well, they saw me, you know, having something that has to do with telling them that they have to keep the law. And they did what? They gave me a middle finger. They gave me a middle finger, which, for those of you that know what that means, that's insulting. You know what? I appreciate that. I appreciate them giving me a middle finger because I'm trying to tell them that they have to keep the law. I appreciate that than having somebody that will come up to me. It happened yesterday too. Same yesterday. Before the one that gave me middle finger, there was someone else that also approached me and was like, why are you like, I don't want to go into details what I was doing when they were doing these things, but someone else was like, why are you saying that God is going to kill people? And then I led her through the scriptures and she saw that and she's like, oh, okay, I really needed this. I needed to hear this. But does she believe what she was saying? No. I know that she doesn't believe it because I was saying that she has to keep the law. If not, Yah will kill her. And at the end, she saw all the Bible verses and she was like, oh, I really needed to hear this. I needed this. But I know that she doesn't believe it because she's not going to keep the law. See, I prefer the guy that gave me middle finger over the woman that, after hearing that she has to keep the law, tells me that, oh, she needed to hear that and she walks away. I would rather deal with the guy that gave me a middle finger because at least I know what he's thinking. I know that he's not going to do it and he's being honest. So there are two types of people. There are those who are openly showing their enmity to their God by refusing to keep his laws. But then you also have those who are pretending like, saying hallelujah and singing praises, and you are playing games. I know who you are. I know when I meet people like that, I know. But I try to be respectful. I try to be kind. I try to be accommodating. Some people will just not even deal with you. I can tell that spirit when I see that. I know those who are serious. I know those who are not. I can tell. You can't hide that from me. Because we're dealing with Yah. Yah is a spirit. It says in John 4:24. John 4:24, the Most High is a spirit. Those that deal with him, that worship him, must worship him in spirit and in truth. It also says in 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 14, that a carnal man, somebody who is not keeping the law, cannot understand the things of Yah. When you begin to keep the law, you begin to see the world differently. You begin to see the world the way your God sees the world. So when I tell you that I do know certain things, you may not understand what I mean. I know those who are genuine. I know those who are fake. I know those who will do it. I know those who will not. Am I going to kick you out and throw you off immediately? No. So, tassel is, wearing it shows that you've accepted all the laws of the Most High. Not wearing it shows that you have not accepted keeping all of his law. It also shows that you're not afraid of Yah, which is very dangerous. It shows that you're not scared. It shows that how the hell can you not be? Are you not scared of lions? Are you not scared of snakes? Are you not scared of crocodiles? Are you not scared of these wild, deadly animals? Are you not scared of a man with a gun? And yet you're not scared of the creator of all these beings? Because if you're scared, you should be running to do what he says. One day I was driving and I think I was trying to use my GPS, and it kept acting out. Kept acting out and acting out and acting out. It was kind of like, my phone was acting out. And I was like trying to drive and do it, and it's not really working out. I was like, let me pull over. I pulled over. And then I pulled over on the corner on the side of the road, and I was, I think I just decided to kind of turn off the phone and turn it back on. So while I was doing that, a lady just came and walked by. Half of her breast was pretty much hanging out. She walked by my car and walked by and then went and turned around and came back. And then she was like, what's the time? I told her the time. And then she said, okay. And then she just like she stood there. She just walked away a little bit and just stood there. And then began to pretend as if she's looking for something that she put in her breast. And just kept trying to basically seduce me. She was seducing me, trying to get my attention. Trying to like, her breast is already, half covered already because of what she was wearing. But it was clear to me that she was clearly a prostitute. Though it's really hard right now to really know who is prostitute right now. When you look at the women in the world, it's so hard to tell who is a prostitute and who is not. Very difficult to tell right now. By the way women dress right now. Because you see those that wear leggings and they say that they're going to the gym, they're exercising, and now the people wear it to the grocery store. They wear it to work. They wear leggings, and so right now it's hard to tell who is a prostitute and who is not. But I could tell that this woman was a prostitute. Now let me tell you something. If that was old me, she had done enough already. Just by walking next to me, dressing like that, she has already done enough in getting my attention. She doesn't even need to go and then turn around and come back and lean over in my car and ask me what's the time. That's way too much. She has done way too much. That was already, just walking by was already enough for me to start looking at her and talking to her and being a prostitute, paying her, whatever, and having sex with her. Those are things that's why I told you that without the law, we are animals. When I wasn't taking the law of the Most High seriously, I would have done all of that. But because I take the law, Yah's law seriously, I was like, no. Yeah, she could stand there and take off whatever it is that was left over on her body. She could take all of that off. Would I not want to have sex with her? Of course I would. Are you kidding? I'm not gay. I am a man. I would want to do it. Can I do it? No. Because I'm scared. When I tell you that I'm scared, I am terrified. I'm scared because I know what Yah is going to do to those that are breaking his law. He already told you right there in Isaiah 24, verse 1 to 6. Isaiah 24, verse 1 to 6. Malachi chapter 4, verse 1 to 6. And many other places. Isaiah 66, verse 16. So knowing what Yah is going to do, I don't want to be caught up. It says very clearly in the book of Revelation that nobody, no whoremonger, a man that has sex with women that are not his wife, that's whoremongering. Revelation, not Leviticus. Not Leviticus. Not Deuteronomy. Not Exodus. Revelation says that no whoremonger will be allowed into the kingdom. That is what deterred me from having to approach that woman and pretty much picking up from where she left off in trying to get my attention. But why was she dressing like that? Why was she doing that? Because Satan wants to bring me down. Satan wants men to break the law. So the same way he used Eve is the same way he uses women today. What he promised that woman was the money she was going to get. Let's see, who is this? Brother William, could you please mute your mic? So he promised Eve, that Eve, Brother William, could you please mute your mic? What he promised Eve, that Eve was going to become like a god. Today he makes promises to women too. If only you will help him to seduce a man and get a man to commit sexual sin. If you will help him to do that, he promises you either money or power. Whatever it is that, Oh my goodness. Brother William, could you please mute yourself? Please, can you guys not do this? I really will appreciate. Yeah, mute your mic. Okay, no problem. I understand. So that's what's going on. That was why she was standing there. But why is it that, do you think that, I mean, no real man will turn away a woman who wants to have sex with him? No real man will do that. Go to Genesis. Genesis, same thing with Joseph. Same thing with Joseph in Egypt. Do you think that he wouldn't want to have sex with that Egyptian woman? Of course he would. But that's against Yah's law. That is against Yah's law. Your mic is still open. If you're not able to control it, you can get off. You can turn it off and just watch from YouTube. I'm just, that noise that I'm hearing is kind of like, I don't want to hear it. Okay. So, Joseph in Egypt. Do you really think that he wouldn't, I mean, that woman approached him in secret. He could have just had sex with her and nobody would know. But he didn't do it. If Joseph had done it, that's it. That was a test from the Most High. And he passed that test. Why? Because he was fearing Yah. But then look at what happens after that. He refused to have sex with her. He was thrown in prison. And look at how Yah lifted her up. And now you have an Israelite. An Israelite ruling Egypt. Because he passed that test. He overcome his flesh, his desire, because of his fear of the Most High. But look at the result. Now turn that around and go to David, who was not able to overcome his flesh. Look at the punishment which we saw earlier today that Yah gave to David. Severe, everlasting punishment. These are things that what happens when you fear Yah. So there's a lot of stuff I would love to do, but I don't do it because I'm scared of what Yah will do to me. The more you know, the more you will be required. Like as I said before, don't look at the Gentiles. Don't look at the Gentiles today. Look at the Europeans and be like, wait a minute. The Europeans, most of them are not keeping the law. Why is it that God is not doing anything to them? Don't think like that. That's a ridiculous kind of, don't think that way. The Most High said that he chastises those that he loves. Those that he loves, he chastises. Those that he loves, he chastises. If you are trying to call, please hold on. I'm going to come on and take phone calls for those that have questions. Don't call right now. You can hold on. You can watch from YouTube, or if you're on Skype. If you have any question, hold on. I'm going to come back and I'll be more than happy to take calls from those that want to call in. But if you're calling right now, I'm not going to take your call right now. So this is what happens when you fear Yah. And simply, tassel may seem like it's not a big deal, but it symbolizes a lot. It means a lot. If you say that you love God, you fear God, you follow God, you do all this that you claim to do, but you are not wearing it, it simply means that you don't believe in keeping his commandment. You don't believe in keeping his commandment, and you don't fear him. You're not serious. That's simply what it means. If you look at Matthew, or look at, before we get to Matthew, if you look at Numbers chapter 15, in Numbers chapter 15, it clearly tells us, it says in Numbers chapter 15, verse 39, Numbers 15:39, and you shall have the tassel that you may look upon it and remember all the commandments of Yah and do them, and that you may not follow the harlotry to which your own heart and your own eyes are inclined. Verse 40, Numbers 15 verse 40, and that you may remember to do all my commandment and be holy to your Elohim. verse 40. Numbers chapter 15, verse 40. And you, that you may remember to do all my commandments. That's what happens when you put on the tassel. And you should have been running to the store, trying to buy it, trying to make a makeshift tassel, trying to get you can go to a store and buy a very thick blue cotton or something and use a scissors and make ribbon of blue out of that. And then try to make your own tassel. You can do this while you then save up money or whatever you want to do and buy whatever kind of fancy tassel that you want to have. But the Most High will know that you're trying. You are trying to do what he says. That's what should have happened already. So as I began to ask all of you questions, I was also watching to see when you began to do it, how often, how you started doing it and how. And as I was asking you those questions, I was getting something on that. So it says, because it shows how you really take the law, how serious you are on this. The Bible in the New Testament, not in the Old, tells us to separate from those who are not serious about this. It says in verse 40, and that you may remember to do all my commandments and be holy to your Elohim. So first, you may remember to do all my commandments. Second, and be holy. And be holy to your Elohim. These tassels set you apart. You know that you don't see people that wear tassels all the time. You do not see people that wear tassels all the time. Once in a while. I remember one time I was driving and I saw this brother on the side of the road. He wore a tassel. I was going somewhere. I stopped. I canceled where I was going and began to talk to him, and we began to talk. Do I do that with everybody that I see? No. I remember one other time, a couple of months ago, I saw this woman pushing her children, pushing one of her child on a stroller, and the other one was following. I think she has like 2 or 3 children, and she wore a tassel. I wanted to go talk to her so bad, because each time I see somebody that wears a tassel, I feel like she's my sister. I feel like he's my brother. I want to go talk with them, chat with them and talk with them. I really want to talk to anybody that wears a tassel. It tells me that this person is keeping the law of the Most High. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to talk to her. I wasn't able to, because I was, considering the current circumstances of where, I was going, I wasn't able to do that. So it sets you apart. It sets you apart. And that when Yah says that be ye holy for I am holy, to be holy means to be set apart. So you can claim that you are holy and you're being this, and if you are not actually keeping the law is what sets you apart. If you see me with my tassel, with my beard, you definitely know that this person is keeping the law of the Most High. At least that gives you an idea of, if you see me, if I see you with your veil and your moderate dressing and your tassel, I know that this is a woman who is trying to keep the law of the Most High. It sets us apart. Keeping these laws is what sets us apart. There's no other spiritual way, some magical, emotional way of being holy. No. It's by actually physically, practically, day by day, keeping these laws. That's what sets us apart. That's what makes us holy. That's what the tassel does. And after today, things is going to get even more and more tense. Some of you may know that I don't usually talk this way, especially to you, those who are keeping the law. But after today, you have less and less reason not to keep this law. Now, if you don't want to keep them, simply go. You can just get yourself out of the group. I'm talking to those who are on Skype. You can simply remove yourself from the group and just move on with your life. But if you're going to be here, you must keep the law. I say must. If you are going to be among us, you must keep the law. It's a must. because that's the whole point of being here. If you don't want to keep the law, remove yourself. I never seeked you out, found you, and began to pressure you to keep the law or to join the group. I never came and knocked at the door of any of you and presented the gospel to you and then encouraged you to join the group. So just like you became interested in joining us in this Bible law school, just the same way, just like when you go to a school, this is a school, but a school that focuses in the law. So just like when you go to a school and you sign up, you are more than welcome to leave. But if you're going to be in a school, then you have to get lessons, which you have been getting for a while. At some point, there will be an exam. And if you keep failing, the school will kick you out. You can't be going to a school and not sitting there in the lectures and hearing all the lectures and refuse to actually do your homework, refuse to actually do what you need to do to pass the exam. You can't, that they will kick you out. So what I'm thinking here is that because maybe it's not costing you anything, then you just take it for granted, I guess. So, like as I said, come next week, some of you may no longer be able to observe the Sabbath with us, but you're still going to be in the Bible law school. We now have a separate group, a separate meeting place, a separate room where we are going to be meeting. And you will be added in there depending on how progress you're making in this work. If you look at the church or the congregation you read about in Acts of Apostles, you see that the Holy Spirit was with them. They could pray for somebody who is sick, they will be healed. The Holy Spirit was with them because they were observing the law. The Holy Spirit cannot be with people who are not observing the law. Look at what happened to the congregation. Earlier on, Yah told his people to go do something, to go destroy a particular nation. And they are not supposed to take anything from there. They went, they did what they were told. Some of them took some things from that particular mission. They stole some of the gold and the Babylonian garment. They took it. They hid it and they took it. And nobody saw them. The congregation of Israel went back home. The Spirit of Yah left them. And they did not even know. Yah left them. Because somebody among them stole something, took something. Yah told them, destroy everything. Do not take anything. Somebody took something from that particular mission, from where they were supposed to destroy everything. They took something and nobody saw them. And the Spirit of Yah left them. They went to another war. They lost so bad. They lost very bad and they were shocked. How could it be that Yah was with us when we were going to this battle and doing this, and then now what happened? They couldn't believe it. They tried again. They were badly defeated. They come back and then at that point they began to cry to Yah. They began to cry, and then through the priest and through, they were able to begin to evaluate and found out. Yah revealed the person that took something that Yah told them not to take anything. And that man was killed, not only him, but with his whole household was all killed. So that was how quick the Spirit of the Most High left the congregation of Israel, by the sin of one man who stole something and, did something that Yah said that they shouldn't do. The Spirit of Yah left that congregation. The Spirit of Yah is not in most congregations in this world. Because when you have somebody among the congregation who is breaking the law, the spirit of Yah cannot be there. No. No. That's the reason why you see in 1 Corinthians. Now, you're not going to hear this one in the church. 1 Corinthians chapter 5. 1 Corinthians chapter 5, there was a particular man that was having sex with his father's wife. 1 Corinthians chapter 5 from verse 1. He was having sex with his father's wife, but he was part of the congregation. When Paul found out, Paul told the congregation to have that man be killed. Paul told the congregation to hand that man over to those that would destroy his flesh. What does it mean to destroy somebody's flesh? To kill them. Now, what Paul was talking about there was the same way that the congregation of Israel handed Christ, Yeshua HaMashiach, over to the Gentiles, the Romans, for them to destroy his flesh. It's the same way. That's what Paul was referring to. Because at that time, those who has the power to destroy people's flesh was the Romans who was ruling over them. So what you do is that if somebody does something worthy of death, you guys will judge him and then you hand him over to the Gentiles, the Romans, and the Romans will kill that person. That was the same way that they condemned Christ and they handed Christ over to the Gentiles, the Romans, who we now know today are the Europeans. Same way like today. If you go and kill somebody right now, who is going to put you in jail? The Gentiles. It's against their law, the Gentile laws, that you don't kill. They don't care whether that person deserves to die. If you rape my daughter, you deserve to die. And you will most likely die. But what will the Gentiles do? They will arrest me and say that I committed murder. But according to Deuteronomy chapter 22, you're supposed to die for raping my daughter. You see how their law is contrary to the law of the Most High? And we are not to have anything to do with their system. Their entertainment industry, their education industry, their medical, fashion, government was supposed to stay away from their system because they, the Gentiles and their system, will be destroyed. So when you pray that prayer, you say, may your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. May your kingdom come. Do you think that all this system in the world will be in place when Christ will be ruling? Is that what you think? Why would you want to have anything to do with it right now? Why would you want them to educate your children if they're going to be destroyed? Those that believe that the world is billions of years old and that we came out of fish from the ocean and became a chimp and became a chimp and became a monkey and turned into a human being, these people are foolish. And yet they can't even prove it. If there are anybody or any people who are faithful people, it's these people. They are people of faith because they can't prove their so-called evolution. It's by faith. None of them was around at that time there was no documented record that shows that the world is billions of years old. So what Paul was talking about in 1 Corinthians chapter 5, he was describing exactly what happened to Christ when he says to hand that brother over to those that would destroy the flesh. Now, Paul was talking to the congregation to go and report a brother in the congregation. This is New Testament, 1 Corinthians chapter 5. Paul was telling the congregation to go and report that brother to the Romans. As soon as the congregations come together and tells the Romans, this person has been condemned. They did something that is against our law. That's it. That was exactly what they did to Christ. They told the Romans that Christ blasphemed and that it's against the law. The Romans took him and they crucified him. That was the way it used to be done. That was what Paul was telling the congregation to do. Report him to the Gentiles. Tell the Gentiles that he broke the law the law in the Bible, because that was what the Gentiles was doing at that time. They were basically being the court, or they were the ones who was killing those who has been condemned for breaking Yah's law. But the point is that Paul was telling the congregation, have that brother be put to death. It's right there in 1 Corinthians. You might want to open your Bible and read that. 1 Corinthians chapter 5, because he goes on to talk about leaven, how one person can contaminate the rest of the congregation. This is not a joke. 1 Corinthians chapter 5. 1 Corinthians chapter 5. It is actually reported that there is sexual immorality among you, and such sexual immorality as is not even named among the Gentiles, that a man has his father's wife. Verse 2, 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 2. And you are puffed up and have not rather mourned that he who has done this deed might be taken away from among you. Verse 3, for indeed, as absent in body, but present in spirit. For I indeed, as absent in the body, but present in the spirit, have already judged as though I were present him who has done this deed. Verse 4, in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, when you are gathered together along with my spirit, with the power of Yeshua HaMashiach, deliver such a one to Satan for the destruction of the flesh, that his spirit may be saved in the day of Yeshua HaMashiach. Verse 6, your glorifying is not good. Do you not know that little leaven leavens the whole lump? Therefore purge out the old leaven, that you may be a new lump, since you truly are unleavened. For indeed Christ our Passover was sacrificed for us. Verse 8, therefore let us keep the feast, not with old leaven, nor with leaven of malice and wickedness, but with unleavened bread of sincerity and truth. So you also see him describing the Gentiles as Satan. Now you may say, well, it says Satan. He told them when they gathered together that they should deliver that person to Satan for the destruction of their flesh. No, Satan is a spirit. Like you see Christ describing people as Satan. He described the Pharisees as the children of Satan. He even went as far as describing his own disciple as Satan. Anybody who is going against the law of God is of Satan. And Christ described them as children of Satan. They are from Satan. So Paul was describing the Romans as Satan, which also, if you do understand Revelation chapter 13, verse 2, Satan gave his power, his throne, and his authority to the beast. That beast is not a wild animal. That beast, like Daniel chapter 2, verse 20, Daniel chapter 2, and also Daniel, if you read the book of Daniel chapter 2, and then Daniel chapter 7, verse 23 to verse 25, tells you that that beast is the fourth kingdom that will rule the whole world. And that fourth kingdom will rule until the second coming of Christ. Now, when you look at the world, you know that the Chinese are not ruling the world. You know that the Africans are not ruling the world, not the Latinos. The Europeans are ruling the world. And you look at all the systems that they have put in place. It's a satanic system because it's contrary to the law of the Most High. They are of Satan. That's why we have to stay away from their system. So they are the ones that Paul was describing as Satan. And the whole point and context of this is to show you what Paul was how he was trying to get rid of a brother that broke the law. Do you see that, or am I crazy over here? I know a lot of people think I'm crazy. Do you see what Paul was saying that the congregation should do to a brother that was going against Yah's law? That's why I told you in the beginning that you will never hear this in the church. They will never tell you that Paul was suggesting that the congregation should kill somebody. Today, people will tell you, well, pray for him. Let's pray for him. Paul was saying, no, put him to death. Not just separate from him. Make sure that he doesn't get away from breaking that law. That his flesh is destroyed to hopefully save his soul. I didn't read this out of the Old Testament. But I do this to give you an example to see how serious this is. If you're going to be here, if you're going to be around me, if you're going to be here, we must be very serious about this because, Paul described 11, those who are serious will motivate those who are not serious. Those who are not serious will pull back those who are serious. That's why when I see brothers over here, if you put up a picture where you don't have a beard in your picture, as a profile picture where you don't have a beard, if you're a woman, you put up a picture where you don't have a head covering, I don't want to see that nonsense. I don't want to see that. You need to change your profile picture and have a head covering on. Because when new people come in and they see that, it discourages them. We have to all come together and help each other in this journey. This is a journey. You are either in or you are out. You either join the journey or you get out of the way and go back to the world. So I'm hoping that those who don't have the tassel will do whatever they can to put on their tassel. It's a shameful thing, and you are a liar. You are a hypocrite. And you don't have the fear of Yah if you are walking around without a tassel. You are lying because you claim that you're keeping the law. It's a shameful thing because you go ahead and tell people about how they are not keeping the Sabbath on Saturday, on Sunday, and whatever else you tell them about the law, and yet you have no tassel. That's a shameful thing and a lie. But also you don't have the fear of Yah. And it's dangerous also. So, like as I said, come next Sabbath, most of you will no longer be able to participate in joining us for Sabbath. So until you get all these things together, I spoke to Sister Tammy about other issue. She has other things that, that has to do with the law. Anybody that are into something like that are not allowed to be among the congregation. So I think that now you will begin to understand what the Most High was talking about. Whenever you see in the Bible, it says that whoever does this should be cut off of the congregation. Now you begin to understand what that means. Whenever you're reading in the Bible, some of you may have come across this. You will be reading in the Bible, and Yah will say that whoever does anything like this should be cut off from among the congregation. That's what Yah was talking about. So I can't be here and keep calling you brother and keep calling you sister while you're going against the law. Then you are living in sin, but I am also now sinning because of you. I will be the most foolish and the most stupid person in the world to allow you to do such a thing to me, to allow you to make Yah to become angry at me. No. If I have to hurt your feeling so that the Most High will not become angry at me, I will hurt your feelings so bad you have no idea. If I have to make you angry so that Yah will not be, but if this makes you angry, well, so be it. So be it. It should make you to it should make you to say, you know what, I will do whatever within my power to have tassel in my clothes by the end of tomorrow. I don't know. We're in different parts of the world right now. Maybe it may be dark where you are. It should make you to say, I will do whatever within my power. I'm not going to go to bed tomorrow. I will do tomorrow. I'm just going to go around, find a way to put tassels in my clothes. When we started today, you keep hearing sisters talking about using glue to glue their tassel on, to glue it on, to do it this way. I've given you different examples of how you can make this thing work. I'm not even going to go back and give those examples. A word is enough for the wise. I can stay here for the next 20 hours. A fool will never understand. You can simply go find a jacket, put your tassel on it, and then you keep putting that jacket on while you put other clothes until you're able to put tassels in all your clothes. You can get on Amazon right now and order some tassels right now. Pay $5 or $10 extra and have it be delivered tomorrow or by the end of tomorrow. So, but like as I said, so we're going to do this evaluation again. As we go on, at the end of today, I wouldn't be surprised if some of you do leave the group. Thank you very much. Nice meeting you. If you remove yourself, I will appreciate that. If you do stay, then you know that there are rules and regulations. Like as I said, you must keep the law. And if you don't, I may not see you because we're in different places, but I'm going to sit here and I guarantee you that I will know. I would know. I'm talking about different laws. So, but if you're here, you are here on the rules and regulation and the terms of this school. You don't have to be here. You don't have to. That's why I say you can leave. I expect that some people will leave. But to be able to participate for the Sabbath, that's where we are going to. That you have to be absolutely, you can't join us for the Sabbath without your tassels on. You can't join us for the Sabbath without certain lawlessness that are going on, certain laws that you're not keeping yet. Don't even let me ask you about those laws. You need to be talking about them and saying, how do I handle this? How do I do this? This is a law that I'm not keeping right now. What do I need to do? There was a brother that wanted to join us. He wanted to join us and he wasn't circumcised. I was like, you have to be circumcised. And he's working on it. He's working on it right now. So there are rules and regulations. It's not free for all. At this point, most of you, I'm mainly speaking to those that know. I'm mainly speaking to those that know better, those that know what's going on, those that that has been here for a while. I'm mainly speaking to you. You've pretty much have run out of your grace period, so there's really no excuse at this point. You're gonna have to actually work kind of hard to be able to be added into. This is not a congregation anymore. This is a Bible law school. This is a school where we focus mainly on learning the law. So come next Sabbath, if you call in here for the Sabbath, you will not be able to. I'm not going to be here. We now have a separate place where we meet for worship, and you're going to have to be added into that. If you want to fellowship with us and worship on the Sabbath, it's not by force. You can do it at home. You can do it by yourself if you want to. If you want to join the congregation and worship, you now have to, because otherwise the spirit of Yah cannot be among us. I want us to be able to pray for somebody who is sick and they will be healed. If there's anybody among us who is breaking the law, Yah will not really hear our prayer. All of us together, where 2 or 3 are gathered, we should be able to ask Yah to do something for us and he will do it. We should be able to pray for a brother or sister that has problem, they will be healed. Yah will actually hear us and heal that person. But that cannot happen if some of us are not wearing tassel, some of us are still shaving our beards, some of us are not even keeping the Sabbath. There's a lot of people that join us here who doesn't even observe the Sabbath. There was a brother, is he here? Brother Ben. He doesn't observe the Sabbath. I was talking to him the other day, and he told me that actually he's going to be working on the Sabbath or something like that. That he found a new job. And because of that new job, he's going to be working on the Sabbath. No, you can't join us. You can't go break the Sabbath in the daytime, and then in the evening, depending on where you are, you come and join us. Well, you know, that's a joke. You're mocking the Most High. Come on, are you serious? I feel insulted. And I'm not even the one that gave you the law. So in order for us to gather together now, I really, really, really want to have the spirit of Yah around me. Because when I have the spirit of Yah around me, no weapon fashioned against me will prosper. And before you even put out a request, Yah will answer. But, you know, when we have people that, you know, that are not really taking the law seriously, we have brothers coming in here and asking, when is the Sabbath? On a Sabbath day or on a Tuesday, like, when is this? Are you serious? When is the Sabbath? Brother Christopher, he's not here right now. After today, he'll probably be removed, but I can guarantee you right now that Brother Christopher will not be added into the congregation. I can tell you that right now. He's not coming in. Now, like as I said, I'm not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'm not going to do that. I could have just rejected all those that I've observed who are not serious. Could have just removed you completely. That's why we created a separate. I wanted Yah to guide me. I don't want to be emotional. I don't want to be become egotistical, whatever, however they say it. Let my ego get in the way. Let my pride get in the way. Because this is the thing of Yah. This is Yah's business. It's about Yah. You are all children of Yah. I'm simply a messenger. I'm simply a servant. So I want to do it the way that my master wants me to do it. If I want to do it my own way, I would just be like, you know what, this person is not serious. They're not serious. I would just like, and you will try to come in, you can't come in. You will know why, but I want Yah to guide me and lead me. So there are those like Christopher. If not because we have a separate room where we're going to be meeting for Sabbath, he would have been removed. But this particular room is called Bible Law School. So everybody still stays. Or kind of. It depends. Some people may have to be removed. And then you can go work on yourself. When you're serious and you're observing these laws, then you can come back and then we evaluate and see if you can be added back or not. But I can tell you that for the room where we worship, that you can't be a man. You can't join us. You're a man. You don't have a beard on your face. You're not wearing your tassel. Whether you're a boy, girl, grandma, grandpa, it doesn't matter. You can't join us without wearing your tassel. You can't join us. If I know of a particular law that you're breaking, you can't join us. Because I personally, I know, I try to, I'm not sitting here and trying to get you to do something that I'm not doing. We have to approach Yah with all our heart and with all our soul. So that when we gather together, it will be holy people gathering together. People who are set apart. If you're not wearing tassel, you're not set apart. You're not set. Those laws is what sets you apart. If you're still shaving your beard, you're not set apart. If you're walking on the Sabbath, you're not set apart. We were told to not be unequally yoked with an unbeliever. If you're not keeping the laws, if you are not wearing your tassel, you don't believe in the law. You're an unbeliever. Because if you do believe in it, you would have run and put on your tassel long ago. It's unbelief because you don't fear Yah, you don't believe in it, because if you believe in it, you should have been wearing it. So we're not supposed to be hanging out together with an unbeliever. Now, I will tolerate that because this is a school where we're learning the law. Anybody can be added into Bible law school. Anybody can be added in, but anybody cannot be added into the congregation. No. Anybody cannot be added in. If I know of any law that you are breaking, we need to work on it. I'm not going to reject you like as in reject you, but I will try to help you as much as I can. Let's work on it. I have brothers right now, I have people who are walking right now, who are working on their salvation, who are trying to do things, people who are trying to get out of certain situation that they are in that is against the law. I try to help them as much as I can. I will help you. I'm not going to abandon you. But what I'm not going to do also is tolerate you around me on a holy day, which if that happens, the Spirit of Yah cannot be among us. I want to worship with those who are truly set apart, so that when we call upon the Most High, He will hear us. We may be 3, we may be 2 people, we may be 3 people, we may be 4, or maybe 3 only. But Yah don't care about numbers. He cares about those who are really serious. And if you are not observing these laws, if you're not keeping the Sabbath, you're not wearing your tassel, you're shaving your beard, you're not serious. You don't fear Yah, you are an unbeliever, you are an infidel. That's what it says in 2 Corinthians chapter 6. You don't believe in Yah, you are an unbeliever and you are an infidel. Now, like as I said, I will tolerate you in the Bible law school. If you're willing to learn the law, sure, good, fine. You can, I'm not going to, that's fine. Because at the end of the day, I want all of us to make it into the kingdom. So I'm not going to just kick you out. No, I will help you. I will be around. I will help for those that want help. There's a particular, somebody on YouTube that commented, a sister, you say that you need help in keeping the law. Let's talk. We can talk afterwards. I will help you as much as I can. Sometimes maybe you need counsel, whatever that thing is. I will try to help you as much as I can for those that need help. That's why we have this particular section right now, Bible Law School, where we're learning about the law. But if you would like to join us for worship, that will be a completely whole new game. You have to actually be doing the laws. And I can't let you join us if I know of a particular law that you are actually breaking. That's not going to happen. So come next Sabbath day, many of you, I'm just letting you know right now, if you come to Bible Law School, I will not be here. We will not be here. But I'm going to try my best between now and next Sabbath to make sure that we continue this evaluation for those who truly wants to congregate together and worship Yah. And you will see what will happen when we begin to do this. Because I can tell you, we haven't been serious. And I have to be honest and admit we haven't been serious. I have given you multiple examples with the children of Israel, the congregation, the ancient congregation, all the way down to Paul in 1 Corinthians chapter 5. I've given you an example. The Spirit of Yah cannot be among a congregation where some people are really, really, really trying to keep the law and some people are not serious. Yah cannot be, because as soon as we gather together, we're all now the same. We are now a congregation now. That's it. As soon as we gather together. Now, if I'm by myself in my home and I'm doing things, I can pray to Yah. It's between me and Yah. But as soon as I gather with you, then Yah now sees us the same way. That's why he says, come out from among them and be ye separate. So it's a responsibility of you or me to make sure that I gather together with those who are also like me, those who are keeping the law. So, like as I said, you need to evaluate yourself and find out the laws that you're not keeping already. If there's a law that you're still working on, that you really want to keep, but you haven't started keeping it yet, whatever that thing is, then work on it. Hurry up. This is a time of, this is a time of period of grace. Hurry up, because death can come at any time. Death can come at any time. Yeshua can also return at any time. If death comes, if you die right now, that's it. Look at those that gave excuses. Adam, Saul. Look at how their excuses worked out for them. Did Yah care about their excuses? No. So this is the time to move fast and work on these things. You can't be seen without a tassel. You can't step out the door without a tassel. You shouldn't. You should be ashamed. You should be fearful. If you are in a system where the Gentiles and the wicked hidden are hindering you from keeping the law, then get out. Get out from, whatever that system is. Get out. Do whatever you need to do to observe these laws. Do whatever you need to do. Get out. Get out of from among them. Be separate. Be holy. Be separate. That's what we're called to do. So I give all glory and all honor to our Heavenly Father for everything. Hopefully you are able to make it and do what you need to do. I would love for all of us to congregate together and meet together. But unfortunately, some of us are more serious than others. Some of us are, much more active. We are all supposed to be proactive. We're supposed to be, you're working out your own salvation. So I hope that you understand what I explained. When we gather together, Yah now sees us as congregation. So at that point, things has to be done in order. It has to be done in order. Same thing. There's also something that does go on that will not be tolerated. Absolutely. Absolutely. If it does happen, I will not only kick you out of the congregation, I will kick you out of the Bible law school, and I will make sure I block your phone number, and I will never talk to you again. Most likely. If this particular thing happens. So, and you can try and check it out and see if it's going to happen. I mean, you can give it a try. You can try me and see maybe if I'm going to do what I said. When we do meet, like we met today, I spoke to almost everyone on Skype. You guys were talking freely and all that. We are in class, Bible Law School. When we meet as a congregation for worship, there has to be order. I don't care who you are, like as I said, because now you know. Now you know. You may see another sister that is new that will come in and she will break this law. She will break it. I will turn a blind eye and then try to get her to understand that she shouldn't do it. If you look at that and then you will go after and follow after her, well, you know, and I will not be kind or tolerate this with you, because now you know. So in 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 34, let your women keep silent in the churches, for they are not permitted to speak, but they are to be submissive, as the law also says. This is not Paul telling you this. This is what the law says. If you go against this, then you are going against the law. Verse 35. And if they want to learn something, let them ask their husbands at home. For it is shameful for a woman to speak in the congregation. 1 Corinthians chapter 14 from verse 34. Now, I do have a sister a while ago who was like, that she's trying to get her husband to lead. She was trying to get her husband to lead and trying to get her husband to, to be, to teach the Bible, but her husband doesn't know anything. She is the one that is pretty much trying to teach her husband. I understand that there are people who have that situation. I understand that there are women who don't have a husband. I understand all that. So, because it says in verse 35, 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 35, and if they want to learn something, let them ask their own husband at home, for it is shameful for a woman to speak in the congregation. That's why we have the Bible law school. That's why we have today. That's why we meet today. You can freely ask questions. You can freely, that's why we have today. But when we meet as a congregation, that cannot happen. If you have any question, you have to hold on to it. You can call me after we meet, after that, or you can wait for Tuesday. You can ask your question. That's why we have today, so that we can, make up the fact that, make sure that we're covered. So when he says in verse 4, let your women keep silent in the churches, for they are not permitted to speak. When we come into, let's say we come to the temple, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't say good morning, good afternoon, good morning, how are you doing, how are the kids? No, that's not what this is saying. It doesn't mean that as soon as you come into the compound, you put a lock in your mouth and lock your mouth. That's not what it's saying. You can say, hi, how are you doing? We can do that in the beginning. But as soon as the section begins, as soon as we begin the worship, as soon as the congregation begins, no more. No more. And if you have shame, you shouldn't even open your mouth. And we've seen a lot of opposite of that over here. No more. That can no longer be tolerated. No more. Again, I can turn a blind eye by a new person that joins us. But before, even the new people that join us can no longer be added straight into the congregation. They will be added, first of all, into the Bible law school. And then as they go, like the sister that just joined us, she's not wearing her tassels yet. She said that she covers her hair. She's beginning to do it more and more. She cannot join us in the congregation right now. No. She can stay in the Bible law school and learn more. But as she begins to wear her tassel and begin to keep other laws, then eventually if she wants to keep the Sabbath, then she should do this quick. Then she will be added into the congregation. So by the time you get added into the congregation, you already know. You already know these things already. But those that do try to go against this, I dare you to try and see what happens. For those who are not serious about this, you'll be like, well, I don't care. You will remove me, right? Yeah, I'll remove you. But you are being removed for going against Yah's law. So it's not just going to be between you and I. It says in verse 34, 1 Corinthians chapter 14, 34, that they're not allowed to speak. What it means is to give speech, to start, like as I said, there's nothing wrong with saying hello, good morning, how are you doing? How was your day? How was your week? There's nothing wrong with that. But you cannot go from there and start talking about the Bible and start beginning to teach. Some of you do it indirectly. You begin to teach and begin to talk about something. You want to talk about testimony, and then from there you switch over and start teaching and start going all that. If you do that, I will shut you down if you do it immediately. I will stop you immediately, and please don't let me do that, because then that begins to create certain kind of, at that point you become a suspect. There was one time some people joined us. Oh, she waited for a while. She waited for a while. She was with us. She would join us on the Sabbath. She was joining us for a while. And then she began to show her true color. She began to say that the Sabbath is not regulated by the moon, that she began to say all kinds of stuff. She began to post things. That also includes by posting. So you don't even want us to do this. You don't even because that makes you a suspect. That shows that you have an ulterior motive for joining us. But like as I said, this will less likely going to happen, because some of you who are already here, we're gonna have to talk. you can't just be. I can't just add you over into the congregation right now. I can't just do that. I'm sorry. I can't just do that. Um, Before we move on this, so this is for the ladies. Same thing with the brothers. Thing with the brothers. There has to be order. If you do get added into the congregation, there has to be order. Please, I don't want to. You can't join us without having your beard, and I'm gonna need to see that you have your beard. So those cameras will need to come on. You're gonna have to grow your beard. You need to start working on that right now. You're gonna have to wear your tassel. I'm gonna have to see those tassels, because if I don't do these things, like as I said, the Most High will hold me responsible. Because then, again, like I told you exactly the reason why. I try to explain these things from the Bible. The reason why is that I am now bringing together genuine, honest, law-keeping people, but also bringing people who are not keeping the law and having them fellowship with one another. That's not good. And Yah will punish me for doing that. That's why I have to do this. So you're going to have to grow your beard, put on your tassels, and if there are other lawlessness that are going on, they need to be worked on. And I will be more than happy to help you to work on that. So no more trying to teach the Bible directly or indirectly for the sisters. That cannot happen. If you do have any question, you are more than well happy to call me or wait until the Tuesday like today. We can deal with anything that you have. On a Tuesday like today, you can turn on your mic, you can talk, whatever. We are in class. We're learning the scriptures. On a Tuesday like this. This is a day that we have made. We chose this day. We chose this day. We don't choose the Sabbath day. Yah chooses the Sabbath day. And we simply worship on that day and meet as congregations. So that's what's going to happen. Same thing with the brothers. There must be order. There must be order. It's no longer going to be free for all. We can no longer have people, like many of you have seen, we can no longer have people that will join us and ask, when is the Sabbath? That can no longer happen. I'm going to turn a blind eye when I hear something like that on the Bible Law School, which we are in right now. I'm not, but on the Sabbath day, no. People like that can no longer join us. It has to be people who are serious. So you have a lot of work to do if you would like to continue. And if you're hearing this and you're not part of us and you would like to join in, you can send me a message. I will add you into the Bible Law School. And then as we improve, as we go on, then you will be added into the congregation. The Most High doesn't care about quantity. If on the Sabbath day there's two of us that meet for worship, Yah doesn't really care. He deals with... Look at what happened when they came out of Egypt. Over 1 million people came out of Egypt. Over 1 million. How many people made it into the promised land? 2. Out of the original. Out of the original. He doesn't care about number. I would rather worship with one brother. We meet together, we worship together. One brother that is very serious and keeping the law, than to worship with 1,000 brothers and sisters who are not serious and who will regularly, who shave their beard, who are working on the Sabbath, who don't wear their tassel, who regularly comes in and asks us when is the Sabbath day. No, all those days are over. So the people like that will remain in the Bible Law School and no more joining the congregation. Speaking of the tassel, you can also look at Matthew chapter 14. Matthew chapter 14 from verse 34 to verse 36. Yeshua was wearing his tassel. Christ wore a tassel. Matthew chapter 14, Christ wore a tassel. Also in Luke chapter 8. Luke chapter 8 from verse 42, you will see that Christ wore tassel. When you read about the woman that was suffering with the flow of blood, she touched Christ's tassel, the tassels of Christ. That was what she touched. Now today, people will tell you, some Bible translators will translate that she touched the hem of his garment. That was his tassel. And the Christians who tells you that Christ was sinless, people will tell you that. Nobody will ever tell you that Christ was a sinful person. They tell you that Christ was sinless. That means that he kept the laws, because 1 John chapter First John 3:4. Sin is the transgression of the law. So when people say that Christ was sinless, they are right. He kept all the laws, and he also wore his tassels. And you can see that in Matthew chapter 14 from verse 34 to verse 36, and Luke chapter 8 from verse 42 to verse 46. So that's what's going to happen. You have a lot of work to do for those who are serious. I know that those who are serious will begin to do whatever they need to do to be able to join on the next Sabbath. Those who are not serious, like Christ said in Revelation chapter 22, those who are just or unjust, keep on being unjust. Those who are righteous, keep on being righteous. Do what you need to do. So all praises to our Heavenly Father. Put your tassels on. Do whatever you need to do to put your tassels on. This is something you have to work on today and no more than tomorrow. Get it on immediately. You can't be walking around without tassel. You cannot. Each time you do that, you're mocking God. Because when you're not wearing tassel, you show that you don't believe in his commandment. You show that you don't believe in his commandment. You show that you don't fear him, and you haven't accepted his commandment. And each time you try to give people the impression that you keep the law, you are lying. So all praises to our Heavenly Father. I thank you for everything. I'm sure that you may have a lot, to chew on and have a lot to work on. I will try to help as much as I can. I want to close this with Ezekiel chapter 44. I just want to show you what Yah says so that you can understand what's going on and why we're doing what we're doing right now, or why I'm doing this. Ezekiel chapter 44. Ezekiel chapter 44. Ezekiel chapter 44 from verse 5. What we're looking for starts from verse 7, but I want to start reading from before that so that we can understand what the Messiah was talking about and have some context and understand and not just read like 2 verses. And so let's start from verse 5. Ezekiel 44 from verse 5. And Yah said to me, Son of man, mark well, see with your eyes, and hear with your ears all that I say to you concerning the ordinances of the house of Yah. And all its laws. I'm going to read that again. Ezekiel 44. Ezekiel chapter 44, verse 5. There are rules and regulations when it comes to dealing with the house of Yah. And his house is not just a building. It's the people in the building. If you look in the book of Acts, you see that there were congregations that was meeting under a tree. Paul traveled around and there was some congregation that met under a tree in Acts of Apostle. They were not meeting in a house. They were meeting they gathered together. They're like, oh, let's meet under that tree. They go there and they meet under the tree. Is that a house of Yah? Yeah, because it's the people. It's not the building. Yah does not dwell in a building. But there are laws and rules and regulation that regulate his house and his law. And those who are in charge are supposed to implement those laws. And Yah holds them responsible when they don't. So if you as an individual want to be part of that house or that temple, and you don't want to go by their rules, then I have a problem with you. The problem is between you and I, because you're trying to get me in trouble, and I would only tolerate it if I'm drunk. Well, I don't drink alcohol right now, so I'm not going to be drunk enough to let you get me in trouble if you choose to go against those laws. So it says in verse 5, Ezekiel chapter 44 verse 5, and Yah said to me, Son of man, mark well and see with your eyes and hear with your ears all that I say to you concerning the ordinances and the ordinances of the house of Yah and all its laws. Mark well who may enter the house and all who go out from the sanctuary. I'm reading from New King James. Mark well who may enter the house. It's not for everyone. Not for everyone. It's for those who are prepared, who are like, okay, I want to worship here, and I'm going to do whatever it takes. And then they do what they need to do. That's why you keep seeing in the Bible people will ask the apostles or ask John the Baptist, what do we do? What do we do? What do you want us to do? So in order to worship Yah, there are things that you have to do. You can't just like walk in from anywhere and just be added into the congregation. Now, like as I said, I turn a blind eye to give an opportunity for those that will repent and do what they need to do. But that grace period is pretty much over. Anybody cannot just walk out of anywhere and just start worship, coming to his congregation. And his congregation is not a building. Because there are those that met under a tree. They were still considered to be a congregation. It's the people, it's not the congregation, it's not the building. It says in verse 5. Verse 5, within the verse 5, it says, mark well who may enter the house and all who go out from the sanctuary. Verse 6, now say to the rebellious, to the house of Israel, thou says Yah Elohim, O house of Israel, let us have no more all of your abominations. Let us have no more all of your abominations. For those of you who are sisters, you do know, some of you do not join in when you are in your period. When you are in your period, you cannot join us while we're praying to the Most High. Come on. You can't just have anybody in. For those of you who are serious about the law of the Most High, for those of you who are serious about your relationship, this will be very good. You will love this because you want to be able to worship with people that Yah will actually listen to. You want to be in a congregation that Yah will actually, His Spirit that will be on. A congregation that will have the Spirit of the Most High. When there's somebody among us who is unclean, Yah will not be with us. And that's what happens when it's free for all. Anybody comes in, anybody goes. So Yah says, now say to the rebellious, to the house of Israel, thou says Yah Elohim, O house of Israel, let us have no more of all of your abominations. Verse 7, Ezekiel chapter 44 verse 7. Ezekiel 44 verse 7. When you brought in foreigners, uncircumcised in heart and uncircumcised in flesh, to be in my sanctuary, to defile it, my house, and when you offered my food, the fat of the blood, then they broke my covenant because of all your abominations. So it says in verse 7, Ezekiel chapter 44 Verse 7. When you brought in foreigners, talking to the Israelites, when you brought in foreigners, these are non-Israelites who were being brought into the congregation. When you brought in foreigners, uncircumcised in the heart and uncircumcised in flesh. Then he goes on to say in verse 8, and you have not kept charge of my holy things, but you have set others to keep charge of my sanctuary for you. You have not kept charge of my holy things, set apart things, but you have set others to keep charge of my sanctuary for you. Verse 9. Ezekiel 44 verse 9. Thou sayest, Yah Elohim, no foreigner, uncircumcised in heart or uncircumcised in flesh, shall enter my sanctuary, including any foreigner who is among the children of Israel. No non-Israelite who is uncircumcised in the flesh, actual circumcision when the tip of your penis has been cut and removed, physical circumcision. Yah is saying that no uncircumcised person who is uncircumcised in the flesh should be allowed into the congregation. No body, foreigner who is uncircumcised in the heart should also be allowed in. This is why you see the Israelites accusing Paul, the apostle, in Acts of Apostles. They were accusing him of bringing in foreigners into the house of Yah, and he was denying it because they saw him when he came back to Jerusalem to keep a feast. They saw him with some Gentiles, and they were accusing. They assumed that if he was walking around with them, that he must have brought them into the temple, but he did not. But they accused him of doing it because Yah said, "Don't do that." In Ezekiel chapter, So the requirement is that they have to be circumcised in the flesh and be circumcised in the heart. You know exactly what it means to be circumcised in the flesh. Actual physical circumcision. That is the requirement that all foreigners has to go through before they will be allowed to come into the congregation of Yah. I have a Hebrew brother that wants to join us, but I can't let him in because he's not circumcised. And he's working on it right now. I also have a Gentile that wants to join us, but I can't let him in. And I believe he's also, trying to work on it, getting circumcised. In the flesh, well, you need to circumcise him. The person that made a comment, you need to circumcise your child. Costs about $150 or something like that, depending on where you are. So that's physical circumcision. And then we get to flesh. We get to fleshly circumcision. That's a whole new game. What does it mean to not be circumcised in the flesh? I'm sorry, in the heart. There's two requirements. You must be circumcised in flesh and in the heart. What does that mean to be uncircumcised in the heart? Anyone who is keeping the law of the Most High, who is fearful and really, really wants to keep the law of the Most High, he is circumcised in the heart. He or she is circumcised in the heart. Cornelius, Acts chapter 10. Yes, thank you, Sister Victoria. That's what it means to be willing to follow the law of Yah. To be proactive, even before you ask. To be, I want to keep the law. I want to join in. I want to be proactive, to be doing it even before you're pushed to do it. That's what somebody who is circumcised in the heart does. I have turned away an Israelite who is not physically circumcised. And it pained my heart. Really pained my heart to do that. But I can't. I have to do it. So if an Israelite who is not circumcised is not even allowed, what makes you think that a foreigner who is not circumcised will be allowed? Then that brings us again to being circumcised in the heart. If you are not keeping the law of the Most High with all your heart and with all your soul, and you're not actually doing it, if you're not actually doing it and you're hearing it and it sounds good, but you're not actually doing it, or you're doing some and not others, you're not circumcised in the heart. And Yah says, no, don't add that person in. And then at that point, the responsibility now lies on the person, the messenger, because Yah will now hold them responsible. Can you see this in Ezekiel chapter 44? Can you now see why Yah doesn't want, because what happens if you bring people who are serious and those who are not serious together? It's not good. It's a disaster. Because those that are not serious will begin to influence their laziness. Their spiritual laziness will begin to affect those who are really, really working hard. Matthew 25, parable of the 10 virgins. 5 was wise, 5 was not. Look at the action of the two groups. So this is what the Most High says in Ezekiel. Right here, requirement, you have to be circumcised in the flesh and you have to be circumcised in the heart before you will be allowed in. And in order to make sure that the wrath of Yah doesn't come to me, I may even go as far as having some of you physically be checked. Not by me, because if I do it, you'll be like, oh man, he's a pervert. He's trying to see their penis. No, I'm going to appoint other brothers that will do it. I'm going to appoint a brother that will talk to you, and through technology, through camera or whatever, they will make sure that you. There are some circumstances. There are some people that I will talk to, people that the Spirit will tell me that they are not serious, people that the Spirit will tell me that they are not circumcised in their heart. Those people will have to need physical proof before you can be added in. And that physical proof is that I'm not going to do it because, again, you'll be like, oh, he's saying this because he wants to see the penis of men. No, I'm not even done seeing my own penis. So I don't want to see your penis. I will simply appoint a brother or two brothers who will then, I can appoint 2 people and you can choose between one of them who you want to do the test with you, and you guys work it out and they will tell you what to do. It doesn't matter where you are. This is now a global thing. This is a worldwide congregation. Yah's people are waking up from all over the world. It's a worldwide thing, and we follow, so it doesn't matter where you are. But again, like as I said, I'm not going to be the one that will do it, but I will appoint brothers who will take care of that. Who will, again, that's if the Spirit tells me that you are not, if I don't believe that you're circumcised, then I will simply appoint a brother who will get that confirmation that you are before you can be added into the congregation. So, but if the Spirit does tell me that you're not circumcised in the flesh, that means that, again, I really have not. What do I have to gain? What do I have to gain by, I'm not trying to build up numbers here. I'm not trying to build up. If I'm collecting tithes from you guys, if I do collect tithes and offering, then I will have an incentive to add in as many people as possible. But I don't collect no tithes or no offering. So, do you think that, don't you know that to be on here, don't you know that it costs money? Have to get an extra phone plan to be able to use the internet to do this. It costs money to do this, but you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about that money, So, Yah is the one that provides. So this is not, I don't have any incentive. What we're doing from today upwards is going to reduce our number. But that's okay. It's going to reduce our number. That's fine. Because at the end of the day, we want to have the Spirit of the Most High. Like as I said, for those who are calling in, you have to wait. You cannot call in right now. Eventually, I'm going to go on and take your calls as soon as possible. But that's what's going to happen. But if I do have any kind of suspicion that you're not physically circumcised, that means that you're not circumcised in the heart either. I have nothing against, really. I mean, I would love everyone to be saved. I'm not one of those that believe that only Israelites will be saved. No. The gospel is also for the Gentiles. That's the reason why you have Isaiah 65. That's the reason why you have Paul the apostle. Yah sent Paul to the Gentiles. The Gentiles will be saved, but very few. Few Israelites will be saved, but even fewer of the Gentiles will be saved. Less than half of the Israelites will be saved. Way less than that of the Gentiles will be saved. Most of them will not be willing to keep the law or be able to do what needs to be done because it requires complete change of lifestyle. Most people will not do it. Most Israelites will not do it. So this is not a game. That's why I tell you that this is not a religion. This is not a church. Churches try to improve and grow their membership. You can't look at everything we went through today and say that I'm trying to grow membership. Because not everybody is going to be able to meet up with this. Most people will not be able to meet up with this. No. We just pretty much, it's going to be difficult to join this congregation from now on. That's not what people that are trying to grow numbers will do. So you have to actually be able to, even when you're part of the congregation, you can still be cut off from the congregation at any time. That's what Yah was talking about in the Torah. Talking about when somebody does certain things, they need to be cut off from the congregation. This is a journey. It's not a religion, it's a relationship. So that's what's going to happen. You saw what your God says in Ezekiel chapter 44. There are rules and regulations that guides the congregations, and there are rules and regulations even for people to join in. I give you all the glory and all the honor. I pray and hope that those that understand will understand. Those that don't understand, there's not much I can do for you. You have a lot of work to do now. Some of you do, some of you don't. But most likely by next Sabbath day, I think things will stabilize as we go forward. But for you to be added into the congregation, no lawlessness will be ignored. And I do expect you to tell me if you know of a particular law that you're not keeping. Hiding it from me is not going to help, because when you do hide it from me, the Spirit will still reveal from other ways. So, and when I do have any kind of indication that you're trying to play games, then that will really be the end of it. That will be the so you don't even want to do that. So I expect you to we dealt with tassels, but I expect you to, if there are other laws that you're not keeping, come forward. Let's deal with it. Let's figure out a way to make it work. Even if you think it's impossible, we find a way to get you to start keeping those laws. I'm willing to do that. Let's do that. Let's work together and do that. You may miss 1 or 2 Sabbath together with the congregation. Observe it in your house by yourself. We can still meet on Tuesdays. You're going to be here on Tuesday. But let's work on it. Let's do what needs to be done. Don't wait for me to begin to ask you questions about... Now, I'm not going to be able to talk I know some people may want to talk to me immediately, but as soon as you put that call out, I will try to call you back, but I may not call you immediately because there are some people that I'm already working with right now. Some people that I'm already working on their situation and trying to resolve that. So I wish I have a lot of brothers that I can say, okay, here's what's going on. Why don't you walk with this sister, walk with this brother, walk with this sister, walk with this brother. Let's do this. But unfortunately, at this point, I have to do these things by myself. I'm not complaining. That's fine. All praises to Yah. I'm more than happy to serve. So, but that's what's going to happen. I expect those, if you look and feel like there is something that Yah said that we shouldn't do that you're doing, or you feel like you notice that there's a law that you haven't started keeping, let's talk about that. Yeah, that will keep you away from the congregation. That is true. But just shoving it under the carpet or not bringing it up is simply because Yah knows my heart right now. Yah knows exactly what I'm doing. So he's going to reveal. And I'm going to give you an example of this in Numbers chapter 5. Numbers chapter 5, you see how Yah put a spirit of jealousy on a man. If the wife goes out and has sex with another man, and hides it from her husband. The spirit of jealousy can come upon that man. The spirit of jealousy can come upon that man, and that man will begin to ask his wife about that, and that will lead to taking an oath. Eventually, the whole thing will go down to the house of Yah, and the priest will make the woman take an oath. So there's something called the spirit of jealousy. So you may think that you're hiding something from me because Yah knows that I want to do the right thing, and I want us all to do the right thing, and so you may try to hide it, but I can guarantee you eventually it's going to come out open in one way or the other. Something else may be revealed. At the end of the day, whatever you're trying to protect will still be revealed. So you have to understand that we're not dealing with a Christian God over here. We are dealing with the Most High, who is a spirit. He sees in spirit. Look at the way we're told to pray. So even before you pray, even without praying, Yah knows what's in your heart. So this is a spiritual thing that we're dealing with here. And now the Most High will begin to turn his face to us. And now you are going to begin to see power. Now you're going to begin to see the works of the Most High. Now you're going to begin to see miracle if we will be willing and humble to do things Yah's way. So, again, I'm willing to help anyone. I may not return your call immediately. I may not get to you immediately, but I will do that as much as I can. Let's see what's going on and see how we can make it happen. These laws are actually not that difficult. The whole law does not apply to you. You only have to worry about the ones that apply to you. If you are a man, worry about the ones that apply to you as a man. If you're a woman, worry about that. So you have to. It's not as difficult as you think if you are willing. If you are willing. What did Yah say? Yah says, "Come, let us negotiate. Let us reason with each other. Let us reason." That's pretty much what you are hearing right now. I could have just came on here today. I'd be like, you know what? I need to get on YouTube and answer questions, and I need to do that. You know what? You're not serious. Sorry. Bye. I would have just removed you. We did an evaluation. You failed. Bye. But that did not happen. So the Most High is trying to give you a second chance in this walk, in this salvation. I gain a lot of things by being with you guys. It's not the same when I'm by myself. Being with you, each time I talk to you, each time I see you, each time I congregate with you, it strengthens me. Because when I'm out in the world, I don't see people that keep the law like that. So it strengthens me and helps me in my journey, knowing that I'm not alone. I have other people who are also doing the same thing. That's what I gain when I'm with you. So I don't know if you do gain the same thing. That fellowship, traveling in a pack, is different when you travel alone. It's lonely, it's boring, it's easy to fall. But when you travel together, if somebody is falling, we can help that person get up and keep going. We are not going to let somebody fall away or be attacked by a wild animal. We will all, but we only do it when that person is serious. If we realize that this person is actually intentionally trying to bring us down, then that's not going to work, because no, I will abandon you and move on. So Yah is trying to reason with you right now. Yah is trying to reason with you, and you're getting a second chance for those who are serious. Those who are not serious will think that this whole thing is a joke. Why am I wasting my time doing this? That's up to you. So this is a second chance. Let's reason together. Let's walk together and do this. But I hope that you do understand. If you don't understand all this, then that's on you. I can't really. It's been like 3 hours right now. I don't know what else to do for you to get it. You can't be walking around without your tassel. You can't be walking around without your beard. You can't be walking around without your head covering. You can't be walking around with pants if you're a woman. If I do notice that you wear that, automatic removal. Automatic. If I do see any kind of lawlessness, automatic removal. Now, you may still be be left in the Bible law school so that you can have a chance and do what you need to do, sure. But in terms of the congregation, no. So, all praises to our Heavenly Father. I hope and pray that you will put on your tassels and do what you need to do and keep other laws, keep the Sabbath, meditate in the book of the law every day and every night. Make sure you read through the book of the law. Maybe spend like 5 minutes or 2 minutes or even 1 minute. Read a verse or two or a whole chapter and take some time to think about what you read. You need to do that once in a day and once at night. Typically, because I wake up really, really early. I woke up very early. So typically, I do the ones for night when I wake up. I do that before I leave. Then before the sun goes down, I do go through I take a moment, open up Leviticus or somewhere and just read and think about what I read. Meditate in the book of the Lord day and night. That's Joshua chapter 1, verse 8 and verse 9. That's first Psalm chapter 1, verse 1 to 3. You have to meditate in the book of the law. Not doing these two things is going against the law. Yah told us to do this. Meditate in the book of the Lord day and night. These little things, they're not difficult. It depends on who you are. It depends on how serious you are, with the law. So you have to do that. You have to keep the Sabbath, stay away from unclean food, do what you need to do. Do what you need to do, and anything that you notice may be against the law, look into it more. Verify, find out. Ask questions just to confirm. Yah is watching us. The Most High is watching us. All praises to our Heavenly Father. As I say that He's watching us and I was about to close up, there's a spirit that keeps coming up. Scripture that's coming up, that's Malachi chapter 3. That's where it says that He is watching us. Malachi chapter 3 from verse 14, a place that I always tell you. You can clearly see that Yah is watching us right now to see what we will do. We are living just like they lived in the time of Noah. For a long period of time, the Most High did not say anything. Long period of time. Within that period of time that Yah did not say anything, guess what? Noah was crazy. Noah and his family was crazy. The rest of the world was cool. The rest of the world was wise. The rest of the world was doing the right thing. But Noah was crazy when Yah wasn't saying anything. But he was the one who was pleasing Yah. But look at what happened at the end. So it says in Malachi chapter 3 from verse 14. Malachi 3 from verse 14. You have said it is useless to serve Elohim. You have said it is useless to serve Elohim. What profit is it that we have kept his ordinances and that we have walked as mourners before Yah of hosts? This is what people are saying. We don't have to keep the law. Even till this day, they are saying the same thing. We don't have to keep the law. Why do we have to keep the law? Christ died for us. We are not under the law. There's nothing to gain from keeping the law. That's exactly what people are saying today. Verse 15. So now we call the proud blessed. For those who do wickedness are raised up. They even tempt Elohim and go free. People tempt Yah and go free. See, Yah is keeping quiet right now. He's not saying anything. That's why people can say things against Yah and do whatever. But is it going to be like this forever? No. Just like as it was in the time of Noah. Verse 16. Malachi chapter 3 verse 16. Then those who feared Yah spoke to one another. While everyone else was saying that it doesn't matter, we don't have to keep the law, we're not under the law, you guys are crazy, we are under grace. Those that feared Yah spoke to one another. That's what we are doing right now. Verse 16, Malachi 3:16. Then those that feared Yah spoke to one another, and Yah listened and heard them. So a book of remembrance was written before him for those who fear Yah and who meditate on his name. Look at verse 17. Malachi 3:17. They shall be mine, says Yah of hosts, on the day that I make them my jewels. I will spare them as a man spares his own son who serves him. Verse 18, Malachi 3:18. Then you shall again discern between the righteous and the wicked, between he who serves Elohim and one who does not serve him. It continues from chapter 4, verse 1. For behold, the day is coming, burning like an oven, and all the proud, yes, all who do wickedly, will be stubbled. And the day which is coming shall burn them up, says Yah of hosts, that will leave them neither root nor branch. But to you who fear my name, the Son of Righteousness shall arise with healing in his wings, and you shall go forth and grow fat like stall-fed cows. You shall trample the wicked, for they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet on the day that I do this, says Yah of hosts. Verse 4. Remember the law of Moses my servant, which I commanded him in Hebrew for all Israel. That's why we're doing this. Yah is watching us right now. Those who are saying that we don't have to keep the law are saying it. Those who are wasting their time in the world are wasting their time. Those who are wise have come together and tried to keep the law. But Yah is watching. That day he talks about in Malachi chapter 4 from verse 1 to 6 is coming. And he tells you in Malachi chapter 3 that those he will spare are those who are keeping his laws. They are the ones he will spare, and those that refuse will be destroyed. That's why we're doing this. Many of you have heard me say so many times that I will not tolerate anybody that goes against the law of the Most High. Now, when I meet you, I'm laughing, we're smiling, but as time goes on, I will not tolerate you. I will separate myself from you. It's dangerous for me to deal with you if you don't keep the law of the Most High. I can't deal with you. It's dangerous. If I'm not keeping the law, I also will be dangerous to you. I will be very dangerous. And those who don't keep the law of the Most High, they can do anything. I've given you guys an example of somebody that used to be a friend of mine. He traveled to a different country, and then he called me on the phone. He was like telling me how he just finished having sex with some woman in a hotel. And I was like, what? I was kind of shocked because he was married, and he told me, he presented himself as somebody, but when he traveled to a different country, he was able to go pick up some woman and go and have sex with her. And he called me to tell me about it. And I was really shocked. And I was like, I asked him, why is it that he doesn't do it in the country where he lives with his wife? He said, no, it's, he basically told me that words can get around really fast. Words can get around. That was kind of what he told me, because somebody may see him and tell his wife. Somebody may see him and tell his wife. So, but when he traveled to a different country, he was having sex with some women, random woman. And then he will then travel back to his wife. And then, of course, will have sex unprotected with his wife after going to have sex with some random woman. Are you seeing what I mean, that those who are not keeping the law are dangerous? It's dangerous to deal with people who are not keeping the law. They are capable of anything. It's pretty much like dealing with an animal. Anybody who doesn't keep the law of the Most High is nothing but an animal. Just like a dog will go out and have sex with some other dog, it's like that. That's what men pretty much do. A man that keeps the law will not do that. They will keep themselves pure and holy. If they are going to have sex with a woman, there's nothing wrong with having sex. But if they are going to do it, they will have to do it righteously. Make sure that they're doing it with the right woman and not just some random woman on the street that he will stick his thing inside and then go back and lay with his wife and get, this is what happens when people don't keep the law. And for those that are out there who are still thinking twice and saying that you don't have to keep the law, whatever your reason is, you are deceiving yourself. And at the end of the day, the joke will be on you. The joke will be on you if you don't want to keep the law of the Most High. All praises to our Heavenly Father. I thank you for everything. We are now going to close this particular meeting or this class, whatever you want to call it. This is the Bible Law School. We're now going to close this, and I will come right back on YouTube for those that have questions regarding whatever we went through today, or question that relates to other things. I kept getting questions. People do call with questions and stuff. There's a particular sister that called yesterday. I told you to call today. I'm really, really sorry, but we had to do what we did today. I don't know if you're watching right now, but I would maybe try to call you personally to deal with your question. You have some questions about tithes. You were asking about paying tithes. Who should you pay your tithe? I think you also have a question about baptism. So I'm going to log off right now from this particular. I'm going to close this off, and then I will come right back on YouTube. And then at that point, you can now call in through the phone number, and you can also call in through Skype for those that do have questions. So all praises to our Heavenly Father. I thank you for everything. For my brothers and sisters who are on Skype, we will, of course, continue to deal with this and see, we're pretty much working out our salvation. We need to do what we need to do. So all praises to ya. Those who are on YouTube, if you're watching live on YouTube, you can come back, or you can wait a little bit. I'm going to come right back on YouTube as soon as I can. So hopefully they will be able to notify you when I come back on YouTube. All praises to our Heavenly Father.